What's up? What's up? And welcome to the Arthur Moats Experience. I'm Arthur Moats, and you know what time it is. Hopefully, everybody is doing well out there in YouTube world. Shout out to all the yens. Always a blast whenever we get a chance to cut up for a little bit, throughout our streams. Because we obviously know, man, every single day has its own unique, things that make it awesome and things that make it kind of like, I don't really like that too much. But when we get this little bit of window, this little bit of time to connect, man, it's always a blast because we're like-minded. We're a like-minded community. We love the black and gold. We want to see them be great. At the same time, we peek around to see how the others are doing. But at the same time, we love our squad. And that's what it's all about today, baby. All right, so I do like that, man. And we do got another fun show planned today, man. We are going to have Tyler Candelaria, who obviously you see a lot of doing his shorts on the channel, man. Guess going on, what, a year and a half now? Time been doing his thing, man. But he will be also joining today on the live at 4:30 time frame to get his thoughts, see how he's feeling about the squad thus far. I mean, we hear it from Mark Bergen, the WRAL Channel 5 producer down in Raleigh, North Carolina. Me and him have been doing a lot of content together, and more importantly, hearing his perspective and hearing how he, breaks down certain elements of the squad, what he likes and doesn't like. Always a fun conversation, and it looks like y'all have been enjoying that convo and that new tandem as well. So I appreciate y'all, rocking with that. Obviously, you guys have heard from Miss PhD, Tanisha from At Really Flawed Football. Seems that y'all are real fans of her, man. I like the fact that y'all like her a lot, man, because she's a lot of fun to stream with and hearing her perspective, not just from the fan side, but also the female fan perspective. Nice addition to what we're doing, man. And like I said, man, keeps me on my toes, as y'all can see yesterday. All right. But Tyler, man, Tyler's gonna give us that young blood, that young energy. So we're gonna see how he feels about what we've seen throughout these first 3 weeks to see if you guys are more in line with him or if you guys are more in line with me. Oh, who knows? Maybe we all gonna be aligned together. We will find out, though. We will definitely find out. So, like I said, I am excited about that. And you already know, man. Not today, right? Because usually I was like, oh yeah, we got the homie TG. No. TG is in game prep, man. Y'all notice the defensive coordinator at Norfolk State University. So Monday is going to be his day right now, and we'll work on everything. It was just like I said, man, because my guy is on that grind. But you can see just the different type of ways that we are, trying to present these awesome things to you guys, man, and have these fun conversations. So I do appreciate the way that y'all tap in. All right. Let's see though, in terms of updates on the channel. Like I said, man, we got the new stream that me and Tanisha just did yesterday, right? Shout out to the crossover Tuesdays, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Yesterday was a good amount of y'all up there too, man. So it was a blast. But check that out. Check out me and Mark Bergen's work from Monday. And we got film dropping. All right. New film. So we dropped some teasers, some shorts of a Patrick Queen and a Derek Harmon clip or two. But those film reviews, yeah, baby. They about ready. They about time to hit that dinner bell. Ding, 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 ding. So super excited about that. Hopefully you all will enjoy, that as well, man, in terms of some of the breakdowns and just some of the things that I'm seeing that I think are standing out in a positive way, but also some things that we can be improving upon as well. I think both are important. All right. And the Don Hefe Quan, don't worry about that. I actually got a text I got to follow up on in regards to what you just texted about. So I appreciate you reminding me on that. All right. But yeah, with that though, man, like I said, definitely gonna be a vibe, man. I'm excited though, man. We're on to a new game week. The guys leave tomorrow, all right, for Ireland. So we won't have our active player guest this week. That's our Thursdays where we will do that. So since those guys are traveling, we won't have a player guest, but we will have Tanisha from At Really Flawed when we do Victory Formation tomorrow as well, man. So definitely tap in for that. But things been good today, man. Things been good. I can't even complain, man. Had a chance to go down to the city for a little bit, run into one of the homies, Super Bowl champ Chris Hoke. Shout out to Hokey, bro. Was down here with Pittsburgh Today Live. They were doing a show dedicated to the Turkey Fund in Pittsburgh, man. I guess it's been going on for over 40 years now. And it was super cool, man, to have the live audience down at Point State or down at Point Park University. Couple hundred people in that thing, man, today. But always good to see Chris Hoke, man. Always a blast whenever me and him get a chance to do anything content related or just catch up in general. But it was a blast, man, to be down there, man, with old Heather Abrams and David Hatfield. All right, so shout out to my Pittsburgh Today Live crew and shout out to them early mornings because I ain't gonna hold you. It's different between waking up early to take my kids to school and waking up early to be like, all right, guys, already TV time. I'll be like, hey, bro, that whole drive. And I'm like, hey, man, oh, is it really this early? I need some sleep. I ain't get enough sleep. I thought I did, but I didn't because I'm kind of young and kind of old at the same time. So, like, I go to bed early, but I don't go to sleep early, if that makes sense. I go to bed at like 9:30 every night. I might not go to sleep till like 2 in the morning, though, but I be in the bed, though. I don't be outside, I be in the bed. I'm like an old young guy. I promise I am, man. But such is life. So it was a blast though earlier today, man. And now I get a chance to come in here, chop it up with y'all, man. So heck yeah. And like I said, at 4:30, right? So we got about 24-ish minutes. We will be joined by Tyler Candelaria. Like I said, man, he does a lot of content for us on this channel. And y'all like his work, man. He's been on the live as well before. So like I said, man, it's gonna be fun to catch up with him and get his thoughts on what he's been seeing these first couple of games as well. But before we get too deep into this thing, y'all know I'm not about to get in trouble. Let me pay a bill real quick. Work with me. Yeah, you know exactly what time it is, baby. Today's show is sponsored by SeatGeek. I'm talking about the #1 rated ticketing app. Over 28 million downloads or purchases through the SeatGeek app, along with over 70,000 events offered. I mean, what are we talking about here, baby? When we're looking at sporting events, especially with the NFL season being back around, we know our favorite black and gold team has a pretty cool game this weekend across the pond. Well, for those new customers out there, you know I got something for you, okay? Because see, you're going to use this promo code Moats, right? And when you do that, along with, using this app, you get a chance to see all the cool stuff that SeatGeek has to offer, all right? So as I pull up the different games and stuff like that, it tells me all the examples of stuff that I want to see. How many tickets I need, where the seats are good at, and everything in between. But use the promo code Moats, receive $20 off of your first order with SeatGeek. It is that simple. But now it's time to get back to regularly scheduled programming. All right, shout out to SeatGeek. But with that being the case, let's go ahead and get it going. All right. And I appreciate y'all also showing some love too, man. All right. Leah Ward, she was like, yo, shout out to all the young old people. Yes, because I'm officially in that category. Like I run into people, they're like, yo, you still could play. And I'm like, yeah, that's my young side, but I'm really like old. Like I'll tell you, I go to bed early. All right. I enjoy watching like daily sitcoms with wifey. Like, yo, just put the TV on the middle of the day. All right. Let's just watch it real quick. Okay. But then I do some young guy stuff. Like I said, I stay up super late. I play the game. I like to, get on my YouTube, research on my, I gotta have a little fun now. But yeah, man, I'm definitely young and old all at the same time. All right. But shout out to everybody that is in the same case as your boy over here. All right. And that young, old, little in between. So with that being the case, though, let's get to it. All right. Because your boy, you know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure I'm on schedule tonight. All right. We got another basketball evaluation for the little hooper in the household. All right. So I gotta make sure I get her out of there on time. Okay. So with that being the case, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Let's start the show like how we always do. Drop it in the comment section where you are tuning in from. So that way I can give you that big boy shout out to start today's show. Pittsburgh Tiny, you funny. My man said I'm a jaded old man. I don't trust anyone under 30. Shout out to the over 30 crew, man. I'm with you. Yo, with the snappers over. I don't hit none of that stuff, man. And yeah, I got that Moats gang. We in here, we in the building. Let's get it. We got the homie X Concepts showing love in the 725 Claridge PA. Says I got the research pack for the upper room flight to Ireland. Oh, wait. You better do it the right way, player. You better do it the right way. Of course, we got Rashawn Jones in the 732 Neptune, New Jersey. He says, yes, sir. Live from work, of course. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hey, man, it's all love, and I appreciate you multitasking as well. Mike Hood always got love in the 614 Columbus, Ohio, OHIO. Now you would have been proud of my little guy, Mike Hood. So he's been playing that the new college football 2026, right? And you got the whole road to glory thing where you get a chance to play your high school as a high school player, and then you can pick your school, right? So my little man balling on his little high school, then he's a four-star in the game. And he was like, Dad, I got all these offers coming in. I got Pitt. I got Penn State. I got West Virginia. I got Michigan. And I got Ohio State, Dad. Which school should I go to? I said, son, do you want to go to the best school? Do you want to go to a school that you're going to play early in? Or do you want to go to a school that, is going to try hard, but at the end of the day, they're never going to beat these other teams? And he was like, I want to go to the best school. So I said, O, H, O. And he was like, all right, Dad, say less. He went there. He's committed. It's fun. Except when the video game is too realistic. He's behind Jeremiah Smith and company. My man ain't seen a snap the first 4 games of the Ohio State season on his video game. He was kind of crushed. We're doing the whole, hey, you building character. Let me see you practice. Let me see your academics. So we on that part of the parental element of it. But, I thought you would appreciate that, what I'm saying, since you got that Ohio State in you, okay? That's what I told him, verbatim. If you want to go to the best school, the one that's going to be tomorrow, go to Ohio State, bro. All right? So you know what it is, man. You already know what it is. Let's get it. Oh, man, shout out to Rennie. Excuse me. Yeah, Rennie Ramirez. Absolutely. All the way in Chandler, Arizona, man. Shout out to Chandler as well, man. If you know, man. AZ, beautiful place. Beautiful. And yeah, you see it. See, Mike, I knew you would appreciate that. Defending the national check. Come on, man. I got your back, baby. All right. We was in this joint, big OH energy, man. All right. And shout out to the homie Bust Down showing love all the way in Oakland. What they call it, town business, baby. You know what we on. And let's see who's going to be the final. Oh, of course, the homie David Decker. Because you always pulling up, always showing love. In the 585, Rochester, New York, home of the garbage plate. Says happy hump day, happy Ireland game week as well. And I'm super excited about that, man. So shout out to everybody that is in here. Shout out to everybody that is here. And let's get this thing going, man. All right. Because like I said, we do have Tyler Candelaria joining us at 4:30. So I want to get this first topic in. All right. And I want to just update some of these quarterbacks we've been, like I said, paying attention to at the collegiate level. And we said, that there is a possibility that, the Steelers may draft a quarterback in 2026 in that NFL draft. We know it's here in Pittsburgh, and we know there was a lot of buzz around this quarterback class prior to the season starting. So we said, man, we're going to continue to do our due diligence, right? We're going to make sure that we're not just watching them in the sexy games. We kind of following that storyline, all right? And we don't want to just wait to the end of the year where we throw it all together. And it's like, oh, the numbers look great, but it's like, hold on, man. He struggled versus this team. He looked good versus that team. So we're doing it more week by week with this year's approach. And didn't want to, talk about some of the guys again, man. Because once again, some of the dudes are showing me a little bit more consistency, and I'm excited about them. But there's still some questions out there, man. Obviously, my personal favorite, the one that I have really fell in love with throughout this process, John Mates here over at Oklahoma. Big fan of what I've been seeing from him throughout these first 4 games. His throwing ability, his running ability, right? The moxie, the leadership. Told you, he reminds me of a little bit of a Baker Mayfield type. All of these positives with him, even in the Auburn game, man, balled out, looked good, right? 271 passing, got the big win, right? But, it's always a but. My man, injury to throwing hand, and he had to have surgery. So he's going to miss at least a month. They do, at least Oklahoma is saying that there is a potential that he could return later in the season. But the problem is now, when you're talking about missing a month of football at the quarterback position, surgery to your throwing hand, you do have real questions about what that looks like, man, in terms of when he returns. But the strategist or the long-term strategy play for me, I'm like, man, if John Mates here was balling out the way that he was his first couple of games, if he sustained that all season, he's going to be out of our market in terms of being able to draft him. But now with the injury, maybe that does kind of hold some of those teams back in terms of their overall excitement for him. And that potentially gives us an opportunity down the line. But we know those are months away, but just something to keep an eye on, because like I said, man, John Mates here, to me, had been showing the most game changer ability with consistency in terms of being a quarterback as well. Not just one side or the other, right? Whereas he only makes plays off schedule. He can only make plays in the pocket. I thought Mates here gave me the best of both. But like I said, man, the injury to the throwing hand does give me a little bit of pause for concern now. Carson Beck down at the U. I ain't gonna lie, bro. He got the U back. All right. The U is on fire. I be looking at Carson Beck. I'm like, bro, I know they off this week, but did you see him last week? How did y'all feel about Carson Beck watching him versus Florida? I was like, hold on now, baby. Struggle. I wouldn't even call it struggling. I thought that it was a tough game though early on, right, in terms of their rhythm offensively. After it started off with a really nice, beginning, but then you watch the end, and the thing that really impressed me with Carson Beck is the poise. You continue to see it, whether it was at Georgia or even earlier in the season at Miami. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. It doesn't matter when the game is feeling like, all right, maybe it's about to shift in the opposite direction, because granted, the score ended up 26-7, but there for sure was a point where that game felt a lot closer. And you could see the difference being Carson Beck, being that calming presence, so to speak. And Miami got a dog pass rusher. We don't need one all the way just yet, but Bain Jr., number 4 from Miami. I was texting the homies. I'm like, bro, I don't know if y'all watching this kid, but y'all need to watch this kid, all right? That's a pass rusher. He kicking booty. I likes him. I'm a fan, so don't be surprised when you hear that name in the coat, in a year or two. Like, oh, who's this Bain? Who's this Bain dude? He like that. All right, just pass rusher to pass rusher. He like that. Okay, so definitely a fan of Carson Beck, though. I feel like with Carson Beck, he, to me, at this stage, is probably the guy that I feel the most comfortable with if I'm just throwing him out there week one. If I'm saying, man, can you manage this? Is the moment going to be too big? I do feel like what he has shown thus far has been, that calming presence, almost like we talk about Aaron Rodgers, right? Watch him as the game progresses, and it's like, whoa, all right, this dude still doesn't get too, up or too low. He's able to keep making those plays. Now, Beck, not as gifted as Rodgers, so let's not get that twisted in the least bit. But like I said, man, his ability to remain calm in the fire, his ability to make plays while everything is going chaotic, I do like that about him. Cade Klubnik over at Clemson, they on a bye, thank God. I heard they giving sermons out down there, man. That's how you know it was bad business, man. And Cade. Yeah, man, I'm not going to hold you. I'm getting colder and colder on Cade. I was hot on him early on. I was like, you know what? I'm excited. I want to see this dude. I thought Clemson, I was high on them as well. But I'm just back and forth because, like, this game, for example, man, versus Syracuse, he ended statistically well, right? Ended up throwing for over 363. But they lose the game 34-21. And the flow when you're watching him, I don't like it all the way. I feel like it's more backup than like a guy. And maybe that's the games that I've seen this year. And maybe it's because Clemson as a whole is struggling. But I don't know. I thought that I would like him a lot more. And I'm struggling on that one right now, man. So hopefully, as the season progresses, maybe that could change, and we'll see what that looks like. But Clemson does seem like they're in a bad situation right now. All right, so we're going to see how that continues to play out for them boys down there. But the game that I will have my eyes on, all right, for sure, Penn State, Oregon. I finally get a chance to see Drew. I want to see Drew Allure, versus, some quality, right? Because Drew Allure has been playing against, the Villanova. He's been playing against some of these other, cute schools, and they've been, respectable. But I want to see him versus a big game. Versus a big name opponent, a team that's coming in hot as well. You talk about Oregon and what they've been doing thus far, what they did last year, right? So it's like, man, that's a team that is highly competitive. They have championship aspirations as well, and they have a heck of a squad. But that's the same thing they're saying about Penn State also. And Drew Allure is supposed to be one of the big reasons for that. So we're going to find out in terms of how he's going to perform in this. But that's the one that I'm really interested to see, because I really haven't watched him versus, a big name opponent this year just yet. And that was more so due to their scheduling more than anything. So we're going to find out about Drew. But I am excited to see him, though, this week, like I said, versus Oregon. And then you got old Garrett Musmeyer. Traveling down to Ole Miss. All right, so number 4 LSU at number 13 Ole Miss. I'm hot and cold on Garrett. I'm like, yo, you look really cool. You look really safe. But I'm still just like, I don't know if I loved it as much. Because like I said, you hear how I talk about John Mates here. I love that. Granted, it's hurt right now, but I love watching that. I ain't got the Lenore Sellers yet. That's one of my other favorites. I'm like, oh, I really, really love that one. All right. But to me, with Garrett, I'm always like, told him, like, do I really want to like you just yet? I don't know. Because part of me doesn't believe it. All right. I want to believe it, but I feel like I'm talking myself into it. Maybe y'all can help me. Maybe there's an LSU fan out there that's ready to, give me the whole, man, look, this is why you got to believe in Garrett. Because I just ain't ran into LSU fans like that. All right. So when I be looking at Garrett, I'm like, maybe I'm missing it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay. But that's the one for me, man. that, like I said, I just got to see more of that, and hopefully he can convince me. But I'm still undecided on him, and just in terms of where I view him in comparison to Carson Beck, for example, because like to me, I like Garrett over Cade. I like him over Cade Klubnik for sure right now. But do I like him over Carson Beck? Do I like him over John Mateer? That's the stuff that I'm trying to figure out right now as I watch these dudes, week in and week out. Arch Manning, shout out to the Texas people out there. He played well last week. Shout out to Sam Houston. All right. He got off on them boys. 300 plus through the air, 5 tutties, 3 in the air, 2 on the ground. It was nice. He was over there flexing on the folk, which is good. I like to see the young guy have energy. And I get, some people are like, man, you don't flex or do this against this, lesser competition. Man, when you're on that field, if you're on that field, you're on that field, baby. Get it how you live. If you don't want him to flex on them and you don't think it's appropriate, you know the drill. Stop it. All right. Make them stop it. But I don't get caught up in that, because when you're a competitor, man, and it's going to show. And it always shows, man, when you're fired up. And if you feel at any point in time sliding, and I ain't watched all 4 quarters to know, hey, was there any interactions between these dudes? I don't know. But what I do know is Arch look fired up. I see Arch on the sideline getting big, bulked up. I'm like, all right, give me some energy, man. Give me some energy. Because for some players, that's what they need. For some players, they need the get loud at me, man. Smack my shoulder pads, man. Tell me something crazy. Like, I need that. Then you got the other ones. It's cool, calm, and collected. Hey, bro, don't yell at me. Let's lower that. Lower it down a little bit. Eye contact. Speak to me like a man. I'm going to give you the same respect back. All right. And that's the difference, right? But someone's like, yo, yeah, was that good enough? No. So you just got to understand that. And like I said, in the heat of the moment, man, you never know, man. Heat of the moment, yeah, dudes get fired up like that, man. So I do like that. I just got to continue to see more of what we saw versus Sam Houston from Arch. All right, we see more of that, then we'll start talking about him a little bit more. But the one for me, man, that I'm still the biggest fan of, that I still like the most, just because of the throwing ability, the size, the running ability. I mean, everything about him except the fact that I still think he's a little bit more of a raw QB prospect in terms of just the true like NFL style QB, is Lenore Sellers. I'm a fan of it, man. I told you, he got Kentucky this week. The big arm, the running ability, the size. I'm like, man, I love all of that, all of it. And I like the fact that he makes plays from the pocket as well as uses his legs. But it's not I got to run first every time. I think that matters. I think that that's the stuff that can help his game translate to the next level. But we got to just keep seeing more and more from him. But as a whole, man, Mateer and Sellers are the two that I've liked the most thus far. Now, like I said, with Mateer, the injury to the hand, throwing hand on top of that, we got to see now. We got to see. But that's kind of my vibe with that, man. But y'all guys, let me know in the comment section how you feel about these quarterbacks. Which one of them stood out to you the most? Who of these top quarterbacks, right, in terms of the 2026 potential draft prospects that we've been talking about, which of those guys, caught your eye? Which of those guys do you think could translate to this level to help us out? Okay, bust now. He said, yo, that boy Lenore Sellers top 10 pick. I can see it, bro. Trust me, I can see it. He got everything you want. And I think he's a lot more polished than when we're talking the Anthony Richardsons and the Joe Miltons of the world. I think he is more polished in terms of his throwing the football, in terms of his pocket awareness. I like that a little bit more than those guys who are also big freaky unicorns who y'all heard me be against, right? Me and TG were like very opposite as it pertains to those style of quarterbacks. I typically don't like them because I want a guy that can process the information from a quarterback standpoint in terms of throwing the football, not a guy that extends. Oh, and throwing is just like something that he can do on the side. It's like, now I want you to be able to throw that thing as your main baby. And the running part is like, oh, that's a nice addition. That's the cheesecake, right? But I don't want the cheesecake as my only entree. It's like, nah, Rodney, I need some steak. Can I get some potatoes with that thing too? What about some asparagus? Got some broccoli, some cauliflower? I mean, what you got? Brussels sprouts? Hey now. All right. So that's kind of my vibe with that. But to me, man, Sellers for sure. I like that a lot, man. Oh, Mike Hood says none right now, if I'm totally honest. All right, I could dig that. Okay. My man say, yo, he ain't feeling it. If you ain't feeling it, he ain't feeling it. And that's a possibility as well, because like I said, if you have seen, what we've seen here in Pittsburgh, right? Ben Roethlisberger, when he was in his prime, then we know what a 1%er or a top 5 at this level looks like. So it's hard to get excited about non that quality type players. But the flip side is, how many of those players are walking the earth? We said, man, the closest thing we got to that was going to get the one that was also in them saying conversations, Aaron Rodgers. We're going to find out about some of these other, young draft picks this upcoming this season. The guys that got drafted in the first round. Jaxson Dart obviously get an opportunity this weekend. But as a whole, we haven't seen a ton of new dominant quarterbacks. Heck, people swore that it was CJ Stroud. Now they're questioning, why has CJ Stroud regressed, right? So those are some of the questions, man. We're still trying to see of the young new wave, right? Who of those guys are going to step up and be true guys where they can elevate franchises and ultimately compete for championships? That's the question. So yeah, if you don't feel like you're seeing that with that group, which I could understand, yeah, for sure, man, I could definitely see you not being excited about them. I think that's the tricky part with this, though. It's like, man, we obviously want that perfect prospect, that guy that can come in here and do all the things that we see all the other top tier quarterbacks do. But at the same time, I always take the approach of, okay, if I can't get the one that I think is perfect, what's going to give me the next best thing, or what do I feel fits what we're trying to do the best? And that's the other angle. And that's why I look at some of these quarterbacks and I'm like, you know what? I'm not tripping on them all the way. I'm not. All right, shout out to Loso Scotty. He says Lenore Sellers, John Maytier, and then he throws in Mendoza. Okay, shout out. Actually, I didn't see what Mendoza did this weekend, too. I did not follow. Let me see. Because we still got a couple of minutes before the homie Tyler Candelaria joins us over. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they had the big win versus it wasn't Iowa they played. They whooped somebody. Who they play this weekend? They whooped somebody that was ranked Illinois. That's who it was. I was like, I know they smashed somebody. Facts on that. Yeah. Good call about Mendoza. Absolutely. Okay. Now, that's going to be interesting too, man, because I know some of the criticism around Indiana early was they hadn't played anybody, but what they just did to Illinois, who was a top 10 ranked team, that for sure got a lot of attention. So yes, Mendoza is a name that we should start looking at a little bit more. All right. David Decker says he likes the LSU quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier. All right. I like him too, man. I can see that. All right. Like I said, I don't know if I love him, but I do like him. All right. I don't hate him. And then, the Barbarian, my man says, yo, give me John Maytier. That's his dude. I'm telling you, John Maytier, a.k.a. Little Baker Mayfield. That's what I call him. I like him a lot, though, man. I definitely like him a lot. But it looks like it's about that time. It looked like my guy, not only is my guy here, like early, and he looks sharp too, man. So let me get this thing fired up real quick. All right. But like I said, man, if y'all are enjoying what we are on today, don't forget to hit that like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Because it's time. It is time. What's the word, man? We are joined right now by Tyler Candelaria. Man, you got the beard on you, boy. You look good over there, man. Dang.
What's going on? It's great to chat again. Great to chat as always. Super excited about this.
Heck yeah, man. Always good to see you, man. While you over here world travel, I'm like, yo, Tyler, where you at? Oh, here. All right, bet. You got time. All right, cool, man. But I always appreciate you. You know this, man.
You know I'm always on the go.
Hey, you rather be busy than boys sitting around not doing nothing. All right, so shout out to you.
For sure.
Let's talk about it, man, because obviously, you've been doing an excellent job dropping the shorts, previews, reactions, everything in between. And the people obviously want to hear more. Okay. So we got to give you a little bit more. All right. So spread this thing out a little bit. How you feeling? First 3 games in, Steelers sitting at 2-1. I feel like amongst like Steelers Nation, it's kind of like some people love it. Some people are in, a little bit of a panic mode. Where are your energy at though with everything thus far?
Yeah, I try to. So, I always have the fan side of me that you'll hear me react and sometimes be a little upset. But I also have the realist in me as well. So
okay.
I think starting from obviously week 1, I think week 1 was a great showing. I mean, offensively, I'll pause on the defensive side, but offensively. So, I just feel like since that game, it's went down. Like we went down, obviously, offensively. Defense has gotten better week by week on certain things, not everything, but certain things. I think that they're getting better. Obviously, they're getting healthier. That always helps. But Yeah, I'm still the offense right now. It's back to kind of how I feel like the last few years have been, the last 2, 3, 4 years, and
Oh,
again,
Canada.
new exactly, new coordinators, same place. I did hear, Ben on his podcast say that maybe it's Aaron. He feels like that. Not obviously nothing personal against the O-line, but he doesn't have enough time. Like, he didn't get sacked at all last game, but he got hit a lot. He keeps getting hit a
Absolutely.
lot, and he's about to be 42 years old. I mean, that takes a toll on your body. But listen, I'm not gonna panic too much yet. I mean, we went up 14-0 quick last week. I thought it was really, I was like, we're gonna get the blowout. Like, we're gonna
Come
get
on,
the
man.
blowout. The
It's
offense
our
looks
time.
good.
It's our time.
And it's just, it's never going to be that way. Every game for the Steelers is going to be close. That's just what it is at this point. We'll probably be outgained in half the wins too. It's just what happens. But I'm not going to, what Aaron Rodgers, he said, it was like 10 years ago, but he dropped that, they started 0-3, 0-4, whatever it was. And he dropped everybody to relax, RELAX, relax. So it's Aaron Rodgers. He's a 4-time MVP. I know he's 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to still, my fan side is going to believe. My realist side is like, it's ticking. But my fan side is going to believe. The defense forced 5 turnovers last week, so I can't complain about that. I'm still frustrated. 3rd and longs, 4th downs cannot stop.
I'm still frustrated.
They're what? Their teams are converting at like a 60% clip or something like that. That is unbelievable. Like, that's
absolutely
crazy. And I know it's crazy because I feel like, I don't know, maybe not as of recent, but I feel like even when the days of, the Steelers having great offense, I feel like 3rd and longs have been a problem in the past too.
Yes.
I don't know. And maybe you can fill me in more. I'm sure you've talked, everybody's been talking about that, but like, what's going on there? That's my, like, if we played like we did on 1st and 2nd down, every down, I feel like defense would be unstoppable.
No, absolutely. And this is the issue. And it's more of a philosophy thing, and everybody is different with this, right? Risk versus reward. First 2 downs, yeah, man, you want to find ways to get teams behind the sticks. When you get to 3rd and long, now you're asking yourself, do I want to be ultra aggressive when I already technically have them behind the sticks? Or do you play like what you would see the Eagles do at times, where literally you watching all their guys are aligned at the sticks, but they're not giving any depth, but they know my passer is going to make this ball come out fast. So the thought process is, yeah, you align right here. We call it like a picket fence, so to speak. They throw that ball up in front because it has to come out quick. So you don't even have enough time to develop to even get that downfield route. So you're catching it at 5-7 yards. You might pick up 10, but hey, we off the field because you needed 13 to gain, or you needed 15 to gain. Problem right now is these quarterbacks are able to hold it a little bit longer. Up until last week, I felt like last week we did a way better job with that, but still that does show up, and that's, something that they do got to address. And that's the flip side of, okay, do you want to get more aggressive and do more man-to-man coverage versus some of that softer zone coverage on 3rd down? The risk versus reward is when you play man, you could give up an explosive play. I think back to the Killer B era, and that was when you would see them say, well, we don't play the sticks, we play beyond the sticks. It'd be 3rd and short, and they throwing 30-yard bomb on you, right? Or it'd be, all right, y'all trying to play this type of coverage, but you're aggressive, double bump, all right, or double man, we're going to go fade on you, boy. You know what I'm saying? We send an AB, or we send a juju up the seam on you right now. Like, different approaches to certain things like that. So that's just, a philosophy thing. And Arthur Smith, from what we've seen, seems to be more of the, or not Arthur Smith, Terrell Austin, from what we've seen, plays it more on the conservative when it's 3rd and long. But that's who he is, though. He's a let your front 4 rush, play coverage behind, and it's predicated on that front 4 winning and winning fast. And when they don't do it, you kind of get what we experience at times where we're like,
what I think it is too is now, and even the last like few years, teams go for it on 4th down a lot now. Like, I feel like a lot of the times, however many years ago, you could kind of get away with, teams weren't going for it as much as they are. They're risking. I mean, they just went for 4th and 1 at their own 15-yard line on us, and we allowed that. Come on, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous that we allowed that. I mean, and then it wasn't even a sneak. It was a little pitch play. We were in the backfield.
And the crazy part too was this, right? We look at the result, but it was a missed tackle up there. It was a tackle for loss.
Yeah.
That would have been go for it on 4th down, big bravado, but that's a lot of ways to get you beat because that's just like a turnover. But the flip side was we ain't make the tackle, so they got the 1st down. But the emergence of analytics has really sparked why so many teams go for it on fourth down. And you can see there are pros to that approach. But I would push back and say, man, how many times have we seen the Steelers specifically get out of stadiums because of teams heavily on the analytics side? Hey, you go for it on fourth down, or you score, so you got to go for it on two. And we're like, no.
Well,
we've seen teams do that, right? And it's like,
I'm to be honest, I'm never gonna like. It does suck when you let up a fourth down, but I'll never complain about it because like, oh, they're going for it at our 30. Like at least we stop them. They didn't even get 3, so I don't mind when they do it because I like you said, we've gotten a lot of stops in prior years, and that's helped because of that. So and like you said though, I think missed tackles are probably a huge reason for. I mean, I don't know if we were first last week. I don't know if we're still last. Yeah,
our tackling is not the best right now. All right? We get to the ball a lot, but it is not the best right now. All right.
Like I feel like we get to the court, like we've shown those blitzes, like we've blitzed Patrick Queen and we just miss. Like it's just for a second. Like it's those it would be on those third downs. He's coming and it just just doesn't happen.
So but I'm glad you brought that up. So you saying that right there, right? You can see the same near misses that I see, right? Whether it's in the run game, we brought up the Cole Holcomb missing the tackle for a TFL on 4th and 1 on their own 13-yard line. We talked about how, man, you'll see the pass rush coming through where there's a blitzing linebacker or the front four and how they're almost getting there, but they're near misses. And this is the part where I say, are we optimistic about that? Or are we feeling like it's doom and gloom because of that? Because I think there's two ways that you could view it, just depending on how you see it, though.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I feel like we're trying to bring back that Blitzburg because I feel like they've not done that the last few years, so they're trying and I don't know, maybe it's biting them a little bit, but they're so close, like they're so so I don't want to complain about it because I like the blitz, like I love it, I love it. So I think we're just like a half step off or something, like
hey Tyler, remember me and you were talking in the preseason and we were talking about who plays and who doesn't play, right? Any of these dudes play this preseason like that? Not really, right? So part of that is also the byproduct of that. And it's not an excuse for it, but it's the reality of it. It takes time to get back into football speed, game shape, the tackling, right? Because when are you hitting? Even in practice, a practice tackle feels way different than an NFL game tackle because you're not taking the guy to the ground. It's typically what we call thud, right? Get in position, you hit him, but you let him go. That is way different than actually bringing a guy completely to the ground. So when we see some of these near misses, I look at it from more of an optimistic standpoint, just because it's like, man, you're not going to keep missing that tackle. I know that. But how many people aren't even getting in position to make the play? And I think that that's the thing that we kind of lose sight on at time because it's more of like, man, make the play. But it's like, yo, how many people are even getting over there to even get in position? And that's the part where I'm like, yeah, give it another week or two. That should be making that play. And we did see them heat up a little bit more.
Right. And that's what I'm excited about too, because again, I'm not guaranteeing any wins. I can't guarantee any wins with
they should not make too much. But definitely no blowouts. All right. No blowouts, no guarantees.
No. Well, listen, I think the upcoming game with the Vikings is going to be, Vikings defense is tough. Like they are good. And I know they were playing against Jake Browning, but we've seen him play well in the NFL level before, but their defense is tough. I think that's going to be a tough game. Again, we're both going, to Ireland, so it's going to be. I feel like that's tough for everybody. So I don't know how that will exactly go, but I think for that week we're facing Carson Wentz, who honestly they're saying maybe he should just start right now over JJ McCarthy. But
they tried to bench JJ McCarthy since Sam Darnold started cooking. They like, yo, why do you still want to play JJ? I'm like, I thought y'all drafted JJ to see JJ. Don't everybody want to see the first rounder? Now we don't want to see the first rounder. They like, yo, keep Sam Darnold, keep Carson Wentz. I'm like, yo, put JJ back out there. We want JJ. I want JJ. I'm looking for JJ.
I'm sure he's played like one good quarter. But anyway,
that's the guy I wanted us to see, man.
Yeah, but we have the Vikings, obviously backup quarterback. We're gonna see obviously the bye after that. That will help immensely. Yes. But then we got the Browns and the Bengals. And if you look at a lot of people all over social media, like we got a pretty easy schedule coming up. Browns defense
or the easier side.
Offense stinks, but defense legit for sure, legit. But I think
remember they just beat the Packers too.
For sure. But I think from a defensive standpoint, which is I feel like where I'm trying to get at more, I think we will see after this week to the bye, the next couple of weeks, maybe they're more get right games. I don't know. Maybe they can just that will help them a little bit more until they get into more of a gauntlet that they have later on in the season.
No, I think that's great in terms of your perception with that. And one of the things that I'm interested to see, for this defense this week, was last week a step in the right direction or was last week a one-off? Because we talked about Seattle, we talked about the Jets, and we said, man, we really haven't been able to stop the run just yet.
Mm-hmm.
We said, man, we struggled with Justin Fields and, some of the things that he was doing. But then we saw Justin Fields struggle the following week, and then he just got hurt, right? Carson Wentz is like, okay, we know you got that dual threat ability. He's had success against us before.
Right.
But we also know that Carson Wentz, he typically does struggle when he gets off that first read. So for this defense, it's like, man, this should be a better matchup for you. Drake May, I thought, played better. Drake May had a Drake play. He had a Drake May game. He gonna have highs and high lows. That's Drake May. If you know him because you watch with Tyson, you already know what that is, right? But to me, as I'm looking at our defense right now, we're gonna find out versus a legit pro style, not loaded across the board, but they got talented players. When you look at that receiving room, Justin Jefferson, obviously Jordan Addison coming back this week, TJ Hawkinson as well. They have pieces. Heck, Adam Thielen is more of the, hey man, you the shadow of what you once were, but you still have to respect it. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's like, it's still, if that's your fourth, if that's your third guy, it's like, yo, you still gotta look at it. You still gotta be aware of it.
You saw what Cooper Kupp did to us.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the part when I look at them, I will say that their O-line, this is probably going to be our best test O-line wise that we're going to be facing against our D-line versus their O-line, because I think their O-line is pretty good, man, in terms of how they run block. They do a decent enough job in terms of the pass protection because they get put in some bad situations. Those long developing routes, we don't run a lot of that because we can't block that long. We know this. You think about them Justin Jefferson down the grass routes, man. We don't have the group to have that type of offense just yet. Now, we're hoping those O-line develop into that, but the Vikings, they feel like they do, and they put those guys in those, passing situations a lot, but their O-line does do a good job. And that's the part to me that makes me a little bit concerned at times, because as you've seen, when, quarterbacks have time, they start looking like Joe Montana out that thing. You're like, yeah, hold on, bro. Where'd you come from, man? Who is this guy?
Yeah, 100%. And I think from the Steelers' offensive perspective, I just think, and I, again, like you said, the O-line is probably causing a lot of this, that it's we've seen a lot of Jalen Warren, a lot of Johnny Smith, like just quick, like dump off throws. I just, what is it going to take to get DK Metcalf more involved? And I know maybe he's not getting open, but it's like, we're paying him $30+ million a year right now. Is he not getting open all the time? Like, hopefully, I don't want him to be washed. He's like in his 20s, like,
no.
So
yeah, I'm with you. Heck yeah, I'm with you. So from what I've seen, Arthur Smith tries to do some things, but Arthur Smith to me won't go full. He's not going to go full Todd Haley to full Randy Fichtner. Heck, even full Kevin O'Connell, in the sense of force feeding their favorite or their star. We would talk about AB. You knew AB was going to get, anywhere between 7 to 10 targets.
Right.
So, he's going to get his 7 catches, but he's going to get the targets. He's constantly getting thrown at. We talked about last week, right? We said, man, everybody was going crazy about Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry had 11 targets. The next guy to have most targets was 3, and that was to their running back. Justin Jefferson, the first snap of the Vikings, it's, man, you're going to get a screen, you're going to get a bubble route, you're going to get a slant. They're finding ways to just get him the ball. We will flirt with that, and we saw that on what? The screen pay where DK catches at line of scrimmage, takes, 20 yards? So you can see where we try some of that, but Arthur Smith won't spam it. He won't just say, okay, screen play to DK. All right, slant play to DK. Okay, double move deep past DK. It's like, all right, let me get one play to DK. Now let me get John, let me get move. Let me run the ball. Let me try to be more balanced. And that's the frustrating part, because we want our stars to just get the ball. Man, get our best players the ball. But that's that little bit of a mix of scheme versus just, man, play through your player. Like, if you know that's your best player on offense, man, get him the ball as much as you can.
Yeah, and I just, even though it is a screenplay, those screenplays with DK, when he gets space, like, he is taking off. I mean, he not lost a step in speed, I'll tell you that much, but he takes off. So that's why I just, like, I wish there was a way to get him more involved. And then my last concern, I will say this, I'm a little concerned about Pat Freiermuth. Like, not that I know we love him. Steeler Nation loves him. I like him as a player. I want to say he's a little overpaid. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure people agree with that. He's a little overpaid. He's not playing like $12 million a year tight end. I just feel like him and Rodgers haven't been on the same page a little bit. I mean, we saw that a little bit last game, a little bit more. He's had drops. I mean, there's that one play, that unbelievable ball.
I already know.
You know what I'm talking. Like, that was crazy.
Rolling to the right, drops an absolute dime.
Yeah,
You're like, bro, what?
He got bailed out, but still, it's right there. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, he's still going to make plays. He's still going to score touchdowns, but maybe they just haven't been on the same page. But I'm just a little disappointed in Moose. I feel like we talk highly of him every year. And I like John. I think Johnu's always involved. I mean, Arthur Smith loves Johnu, always has loved Johnu.
That's his man. That's his man.
Yeah. But so I like Johnu. I feel like Johnu's involved. I just feel like we're not getting as much Muth. And I don't really know why. That's like my only other concern.
So when I look at both of those players, part of me feels like, okay, Arthur Smith definitely likes Jonnu Smith. He prefers what he brings, but stylistically, they use them differently. I'm like, you'll look at Jonnu Smith, he'll get the flip pass, the jet sweep, he'll get the quick burst to the flat because he is more of a quicker, explosive, short area athlete, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they utilize him like that, or even you'll see him in the backfield at times. Whereas Muth is more of that traditional tight end, and I think part of while we're not seeing more Muth impact, we know he's had a chance in terms of some of the drops, but more importantly, he's a guy to me that thrives down the grass, a guy that's going to thrive, man, making a linebacker actually have to cover you past 10 yards. Now, can we have a lot of past 10-yard routes from the tight end if our protection isn't what it is? Because the first thing we say when it's time to throw it deep, everybody spams me and says, yo, just bring Darnell Washington in the whole block. Okay, that's one side. What about the other side? You can't max protect, you know what I mean? If Muth is one of your guys that you want to have running those routes, that's typically the guy you want in there to block or at least to help our tackles out. So that's why I look and I'm like, I think he's still kind of suffering from O-line at the same time, because it's like, you don't get to have all the down the grass, routes that I think he would thrive in, posts, corners. I think Muth is that type of player. But how can I fully utilize that if I'm constantly feeling like, man, to release a tight end and not have him helping this tackle out, either tackle right now, Rodgers about to get hit. It's like, Rodgers, get rid of it. Yeah, quick. And I think that's all the stuff that we're seeing in terms of the lack of not just passing attack, but even attack in the middle of the field like we've been wanting more of. It's like, man, all of that kind of works together. And what Ben said about Rodgers, I'm sure to an extent is true. Right. If you want to play a certain style, but you feel like I can't because of these pieces, you have to adapt. Because if you don't, and you just keep trying to go your way, I mean, we're going to be over here beating our heads, but getting beat. And it's like, man, we don't want to do that. So that's why I feel like we're kind of like in this limbo, so to speak, of, are we good or are we trash, bro? Yeah, dog,
but you know what, Moats, though, at the end of the day, listen, it's early in the season, so I think there's still time to grow, but as you've seen, I heard, who did I hear talking about this? The NFC is really, I feel like, caught up to the AFC now, and it wasn't like
finally,
that before.
It took them long enough.
It took a while. I just feel like right now,
trash.
Right, I just feel like right now you got the Bills. They're definitely the top of the pedestal right now in the AFC. I mean, the Ravens still look really good offensively. Defense is a little suspect. I don't know, but they're offensively, they're still doing their thing. So they're obviously going to look like one of the better teams. I mean, the Colts are 3-0, but I don't. I mean,
you don't buy it.
They're 3-0.
You don't buy it.
Colts are 3-0. I don't care. I promise you, I don't care. The Chiefs are not a good team. I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm not letting that.
Oh my God.
That happened last year is not happening this year. That voodoo will not happen.
I'm watching these Chiefs. I'm like, bro, they are weak. They are weak this year. They are not that, man.
They're missing a couple receivers, but I still don't think that they're like. I mean, Rashee Rice is great, but I don't know if he's going to just change everything with what they're doing. Yeah. But when you look at that, I mean, they're like, when you see like the really good teams and then you see the really bad teams right now, I think there's some really bad. Like Steelers are going to be good enough to make it this year. Like there is some bad
it's already setting up. It's already setting up. You can see it. It's already setting up. I'm like, So one of the teams that we really was like concerned about, Cincinnati, now that doesn't seem as crazy anymore. I'm like, Cleveland, y'all still trying to figure out the quarterback. We're like,
And Texans are awful. Like, I don't mean to just dress these teams are awful, but they do not look good. Like these teams,
they're struggling. Yeah. And the funny part is
too much about the sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I don't want to complain too much about the Steelers because it's better to, I guess, have these issues and you're winning and then you're losing. You know.
I'm with you because I'm like, man, to see teams struggle, but then you watch those same teams lose, and we're struggling in similar capacities, but we're finding ways to get out of these stadiums. It's like we can't lose sight of the most important statistic, right? We can holler about all the analytics, all the running game, who got more tackles, sacks, pressures, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, who is scoring more points than the other team when that clock reads 0? And on 3 occasions, the Steelers have done that 2 times. And to me, I'm like, at this level, that's what success is. That's what winning is. And we're doing that right now. Now, the speculation of can you sustain it versus is it going to fall flat? None of us are fortune tellers. So we're all, going off of our experiences, going off of our research and what we think will happen. But all we can truly go off of is what we are currently seeing. And through 3 weeks, it's like this is a 2-on-1 team right now.
Right. And I forgot to give the Chargers their props. They're really good.
Oh,
they're a really good team. I will say that for sure.
The Chargers look good.
Yeah.
Chargers look good.
They look good. But yeah, right now it looks like Bills, Chargers, and Ravens are going to be good. It's just that they're just starting now 1 and 2.
Can I ask you a question? How you feeling about Derrick Henry and his phone and the ball security issues now? He like a little Caleb.
Lost a couple games for him. How
we feeling about that one? I was like, hold on now. I see you.
I'm very surprised. I mean, they say he fumbled himself too. He slammed his helmet and he fell right into the bench.
It's crazy. I was like, oh my god, he's like really in his head now.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, we did that to him. We made him fumble last year, and he had he didn't fumble much.
Never fumbled. Mm-hmm.
So it's like that probably gets in your head a little bit. It's been happening twice now in big games, big moments. Mm-hmm. So listen, I mean, the AFC. It's going to be tough. Like we'll see when we play against the Bills. We'll see when we play against the Chargers. Like we'll see how we match up with that. But we got time. That's what I'm saying. We got some get right games, I like to call them, to figure out what we got. Because I think all it takes is just having a little bit of confidence and momentum. Yeah. Like you win a couple games and you score some points. Like all of a sudden we feel better about it. We're going to go into this game and feel better about it. Just right now, it's the recency bias, and we felt like that maybe that win last week didn't really feel like a win, but.
But it was our first win in New England since
10 years.
I was like, bro, it's not to tell you anything. I'm like, yo, it's New England. They actually won in New England.
We don't even beat them in general.
Listen. I have never won in New England. All right. I go down my list. I'm like, I got whooped every time in Buffalo. I was in New England. Every time I'm in Pittsburgh when they're playing in New England, AFC Championship game, we got stumped on New England. I'm like, bro, I have bad memories there. NFL week, opening night, Thursday night, banner drop ceremony. It's like, yo, they're what is up with Foxborough? Yeah. It's like I don't even want to go to. I don't even like to see them on the map. It's like, yo, just wipe that part out, okay?
And let's not forget too, and I want this to be kind of known too. I know they haven't played well to start the season, but people were talking about the Patriots. They're going to be like this really good team. I'm not saying I'm not saying they're like a bad, like maybe they haven't started well, but we can't just be like, okay, like 3 games in for them. People were talking playoffs for them. So if we beat a playoff team or whatever, I mean, they might be, I don't know, but like we can't just discount that. 3 weeks ago, people were saying the Patriots were a team to watch.
They were saying, "Hey, Buffalo, you might need to be worried about this team right here." We and you both know this. It is like, all right, let's see what that looks like a little bit.
Yeah, So, but I mean, other than that, like you said, if you're winning, here's everything, and we can figure it out. And I like that we got the early bye this year. So I mean, right now, I feel like. I mean, I don't know how players will feel about that because they basically got to go the whole season just playing after the early bye. But I think for the defense right now, the offensive stuff that we're just trying to fix.
Deshaun Elliott,
exactly.
Also a benefit, man. Heck yeah.
Get everybody healthy. I think figure out what's going on during that bye. Because right now is when we're if we're winning and this is happening right now, if we figure that out, get the bye week early, I think that, that could change things. So.
No, respect on that, man. Because I'm like, what happens once we get this running game going and we get consistently, run defense and third down and long pass defense? It's like, whoa.
For sure.
Now, what are we really going to complain about? You know what I mean? It's like,
I love what I've seen. And I know he hasn't got crazy yards per carry yet, but Jaylen Warren, you get him in space, man. In the receiving game, he's been unbelievable. Very happy with Jaylen Warren. Like the running game, I think we'll figure it out eventually. I mean, it's just super unfortunate that because I really like Caleb Johnson. Just super unfortunate that he's not going to really have an opportunity for a while at least.
Tyler, keep a light on for him. Tyler, keep the light on for him. Don't turn the light off for him just yet. He just dimmed it a little bit.
for the next few weeks, he's really not going to have a. I mean, even when he's
Outside of
gotten
injury, yeah.
Yeah, even if gotten a few carries, I mean, they haven't. I mean, he just hasn't. There was the problems that we kind of mentioned. Like he hasn't looked
Yeah.
explosive. He really hasn't.
Mhm. Yeah.
I like what Kenneth Gainwell has brought, but I think Arthur Smith likes him a little bit too much. That he's using him a little bit too much. But
I love it. Why can we all tell who Arthur Smith really likes? We're like, yo, you like him too much, bro. We know you like this dude. All right, we can all tell. Stop it.
don't get me wrong, he makes some plays like maybe
Yeah,
a little bit in the
yeah.
spring game, a little bit like a little draw play here and there, a little pitch play. But
Mhm.
when he's just like getting handoffs up the middle like a lot, I'm like, oh my
Look,
god.
Tyler, when we came out of week 1 and they said Kenneth Gainwell had more touches than Jalen Ward, I'm like, we just paid Jalen Ward, man. What are we doing? Come on, man. I thought we moved on from Najee. 430. Why ain't 30 getting touches right now, man? Shit.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I'm still I have faith. 2-1. I have faith. 2-1.
Heck yeah.
Until we start losing games, then I'll
I respect that. And
Yeah.
trust me, that makes two of us, man. If
Yeah.
we're sitting here at 1-2 or 0-3, my energy would reflect what the internet's energy is surrounding the Steelers. You know, we dumpster fire if they bad, fire everybody. But it's hard to have that approach when you are sitting at 2-1 in the most competitive professional sports league. It's like, man, every week we talk about Cleveland beating a Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
How many people would even looked at that? How many people even thought that? But it's like, hey, it's not just a Steelers thing. Is that a Tomlin loss or is that a Matt LaFleur loss? Like, what do you want to call that? Right. So it's like around the league, you see that happen time and time again. So that's the part where it's like, man, as long as we're winning, control what you can control. You control the dub. We got the win. We'll worry about those boogeyman teams when we face them boogeyman teams.
Sure.
Luckily, this week is the Vikings. Yeah,
for sure.
Now
you look at the AFC and you got 1-2 Chiefs, 1-2 Ravens, 1-2 Broncos. Those are all playoff teams last year. They're 1-2 right now. We're 2-1. Doesn't matter how it happened. That's what it is.
Yeah. So with that being the case, though, because I know we get into the back end of this thing as well, gotta ask you though, man. Through these first 3 games, who would you say have been the best players for the Steelers on offense and on defense to you?
Offensively, like I said, I mean, again, I know the yards per carry aren't crazy, but I love Jaylen Warren. I really do. I think when he gets a screen and he has a little bit of space, he makes almost the first guy miss almost every time when he has space, and he takes off. I love Jaylen Warren. Like I said, I would like to see a little bit more DK, like, because I was, super happy about him, but Jaylen Warren's been my favorite so far on offense, just from a standpoint of receiving, running, everything. I think the line will figure it out and it'll get better. Honestly, I know the numbers aren't like stat stuffing, but I like Jonnu Smith. Like maybe he just gets used. I know it's not a lot. It's like 20 yards or he gets like whatever. But he didn't touch paint.
He just scored for us. Heck yeah.
He's making plays. Like I feel like we use him enough. Our big name players, I guess, aren't like really the guys yet. Like I'm not going to say Aaron Rodgers is my favorite right now yet. Like he played great week 1 and still does lead the NFL in touchdowns right now. But I think there's more to see from him. But right now I like Jaylen Warren. I've liked Jonnu Smith. I like those guys right now.
Okay.
Defensively, I know he against Seattle got beat 1 game, but Jalen Ramsey, I like Jalen Ramsey.
Need that.
I love the way he's a competitor. He's a fierce competitor. I love the way he talks. He got beat here and there, but I love Jalen Ramsey.
He also beat them in that game too with that pick. You remember that now? Yeah. He got action, bro.
So Jalen Ramsey, I've loved on defense. I mean, listen, I know that I don't think he did much the first game, but everybody, it seems like it's really quiet now with Cam Hayward because Cam Hayward.
Yes, sir.
If we're gonna discount what he just did last. Like maybe the numbers won't show it exactly, but like I feel like he was balling, and you're gonna wait for me to see TJ Watt, but honestly, until last week, I wasn't gonna say his name yet. But obviously, TJ's TJ. He's gonna do his thing, so I'll never complain about that. Like I know people are trying to complain about that. There's one play that he's jogging that people are trying to complain about.
Already know. Trust me, I know. I was sitting next to Mike when it happened. I'm like, oh, they're gonna kill it for this.
but he balled out last game, so I'm not going to complain about him. But Jalen Ramsey, I'm saying everybody right now, it already shows. It's been 1 game. Derek Harvin's already shown that he makes a difference already in 1 game.
Yes. Facts on that. I see you. You be locked in. That's why you here. That's what
Yeah.
you're doing. What you doing, man?
I
Keep
mean,
doing what you're
he's
doing.
done
All
it for
right? Yeah.
one game. There's been 5 turnovers. We
Come on,
stopped the
man.
run. We stopped the run
Mhm.
finally. So
Yes,
I
sir.
like Derek Carmen up in the middle. So he's obviously getting healthy. Deshaun Elliott practiced today, so we're getting healthy.
No, I like that. And look, and I am glad that you were mentioning the names of the jerseys that my guy, my little man owns, because I need those players to play well, so I don't have to keep replacing the jerseys. He went to school with the Jalen Ramsey on today, and I was like,
Love that.
please don't let this be a 1 year throwback. Please don't, because we've been trending in the wrong direction. Okay, so he had a Ramsey, he had the DK on the other day. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so far we so good. We just pray for us though. All right, Tyler, just pray for us, because
You know what though?
I don't know.
Even if Ramsey's, I think Ramsey will be at least a 2-year. But if he is, if he is a 1 year,
you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, I
I'll-
can't. Not another 1 year, bro. Not another 1 year.
I think that number 5 though is clean though. I like that 5.
It's
And
hard.
it's
Look, Tyler, he had the 5 on, and they just dropped the Steelers Crocs. He had the Steelers Crocs. He felt great. He was like, I'm like, yo, and they won. I'm like, yo, let's go. You know what I mean? So I need Ramsey to last longer than a year here.
Hopefully 2. Hopefully at least 2. Right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. After 2, hey, it's all good. I got my money's worth. All right, but at least just give me 2, please. All right, we ain't asking for much, man. Jeez. So I like it there. I like it, and I will say this. You've been doing your thing with the picks of the week, man. All right, let's keep it going. All right. So
last week was rough for me. I think it was like 5 and something last week. It was bad.
But your first 2 games, your first 2 weeks, you've been locked in, man. I mean, we've been going. I'm like, all right, let's go. So just so, all right, we're gonna see if you keep it going. All right, we're gonna drop them picks out again tomorrow, man. But this is the Tyler we always talk about when we say, man, we got our picks in. These my picks, these picks. So yeah, you know what it is. All right. So absolutely, man. But before we get up out of here, man, you got any final takeaways? We know you have your preview. We're dropping that tomorrow for the everybody to see, man, in terms of your score prediction and everything like that.
Yeah.
But do you got any final takeaway, man, or anything left before we get up out of here?
Listen, I think the defense going to figure it out. I think we're going to see it this week. I think, going to Ireland, like far travel, like I think it's going to be tough for both teams. I think the game, we're probably going to be ugly on offense again. And it's probably just going to be an ugly game. But I think I'm ready to see like I'm ready to see like a 17-13 kind of game. I know we hate that. I know we kind of hate that because we want to see our offense.
No. I like those games. You know I like them games.
Like, yeah, like we're going to have a defensive
I want a
game.
13-10. I want one of them.
And
yeah.
Right. So everybody in the beginning of the season said, oh, the offense looks good, defense doesn't. I was one of them. But you know what? I think we're going to get defense looks good again. Offense stinks again. But I just think that's just all just a part of this long travel. It's the Vikings have a very good defense, but I like
Flo got the boys cooking over there,
I like
man.
us winning ugly. I like us winning ugly this weekend. And you know what? I'm fine with that because I think the Vikings are I mean, I'm not sure about their quarterback position, but they have a solid team. I mean, they're a good team.
They do.
So that'll be a good win. So we'll see. We'll get to 3-1 at the bye. 3-1 at the bye. And if we didn't like how we played then, would feel great, So can't hate.
Hey, let's go, Tyler. Hey, I like your energy on it, man. So hopefully next time we do this, we'll be celebrating the victory and we'll all be feeling good about ourselves, okay? But other than that, man, appreciate you again, man. We'll do this again next time, all right?
100%. All right, we'll
no doubt, man. Peace. Shout out right there, man. Tyler Candelaria spending some time with us. Like I said, if y'all enjoyed my man hopping on the show with us as well, make sure you hit the like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Let's get it. All righty. Like I said, man, always fun. We get to talk to the homies, man. Talk to the team, and get their thoughts to see if they feeling good or not, or if maybe I'm just tripping. But it was good to see, man. Heck yeah. Hey, shout out to the homie David Dupree, aka DD Small. He says Tyler got some flair on that back wall. You seeing him, right? I said, okay. Hey, you never know Tyler's backdrop. Sometimes when we drop the shorts, I'm like, oh, okay. I know you're moving somewhere, but you don't want us to see where you're at. All right, I like your energy, baby. I like your energy. Man, a mystery. But not quite TG level of mystery. But nonetheless, you need these people to keep you on your toes. I like it, man. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the gang, man. All right. But let's see. Oh, I see y'all throwing y'all jerseys out there. I'm telling you, man. All right, so y'all saw the video that I shot earlier this summer, man. Not even this summer, man. Actually, yeah, it was right when free agency started. And I was like, yo, I had to get rid of we had the Kenny Pickett jersey, right? Gone. Okay. Then it was like, oh, we had the Justin Fields jersey. Gone. Then it was like, oh, we got the Russell Wilson jersey. Gone. Shoot, I got a GP George Pickens jersey. Gone. I was like, bro, I'm 4 down. I got 4 L's. And then that's just Steeler L's. Like I said, because he's off of my little guy, right? Because he loves jerseys. He's at that stage of life where he wants jerseys. And me, I ain't gonna lie, I be spoiling him because I'm over here like I remember when I was that age, I wanted every single jersey. And bro, we won't get no jerseys. It costs too much, all right? So now I'm like, you know what, man? I'm gonna make sure I hook you up a little bit, all right? But yo, Steeler jerseys, we've been down bad. NFL jerseys, even worse. My man got the DK Seattle joint, throwback now, obviously. Got the Steph Diggs Bills joint, throwback, obviously. I was over here like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? So yeah, man. So that's why you hear this passion. Look, I'm so much of a Steelers fan, right? I don't even care about, yo, this probably isn't even a good purchase right here. I went and copped the Aaron Rodgers jersey because I just want to believe. I was like, you know what? Gee, get this Aaron Rodgers jersey as well. He's going to be here for 2 years. Or he's going to play so well, it's going to be just a remarkable, he go off into the sunset. We feel great about it anyways. That was the thought process. Now we know this is going to be the final one with him. But it's like, you know what? I was like, I don't care. I just feel that confident in him. So I'm hoping that these guys, you know, they don't betray me. Okay. I'm hoping these guys don't betray my trust, my love, and my passion, and my son's passion. Okay. Because ain't nothing worse than, you know, little man, he'd be like, Dad, why we lose this week? I'd be like, oh, hey, bro, I don't know, bro. Let's talk about it, bro. I don't know, bro. All right. I like when my man wake up on Monday and I'm like, yo, G Money, you know what today is? He'd be like, Dad. I'd be like, oh, it's a Victory Monday, baby. We drop some tools in here. We get the cutting up. I'm like, yo, I need that. Need more and more of that. Okay. But we'll see, man. We'll see. But I for sure be spoiling them, man. I told myself, like, growing up, I was like, I'm never gonna spoil my kids. I want my kids to have it hard, just like me. And then I hit that NFL lick, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna teach y'all the other way of it. But you ain't gotta always, you know, do the stroke west like the boy. All right, you can get some of this nice stuff. All right. So that is the vibe, man. But for sure, man, for sure. We be team jerseys over here, man. All right. And then I know every time I'm like, I probably shouldn't do this. Probably is a good idea. But I'm hopeful. So here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Maybe y'all can relate. Let me see how y'all feel it, man. Let me see how. Oh, man. All right. Oh, David Decker said he got a Ryan Shazier jersey. Shout out to my dog, Fitty, and them. You know what that one is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, and I appreciate you, Mike Good. Says nothing wrong with spoiling the most. I appreciate that because sometimes I do be feeling like, all right, should I keep doing this or should I not do this? You know what I'm saying? Hey, oh, he said nobody got the Cam Hayward. Shout out to DC 53. Honestly, that was the one that we were considering purchasing this year prior to when we did the Rodgers one. Because I was like, man, we got the DK as soon as DK got here, man. They unveiled the throwbacks, but it was like, man, he wanted like a new one, and I'm like, dang. I'm like, what about Cam? Want to get Cam? And at the time, you know, he was going through his little. We didn't know if he was going to be playing or not. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we should hold off for that one. And he was like, I want to go with Rodgers. I was like, I will go with Rodgers, bro. But yeah, but I'm Team Cam. You know, I'm Team Cam, man. That's my dog, man. Tell you, pull back curtain. Cam was literally the first person to reach out to me when I signed with the Steelers, man, back in 2014. We'll never forget it, man. Before I met anybody on the team in person, I get a random text from a dude, and it's Killer Cam. It's like, yo, bro, welcome to the squad, man. Looking forward to it. I'm like, oh, what? Let's ride. And at the time, he's a young player, man. But I'm like, oh, I like it, man. It made me feel good about it. And I got here, I'm like, I'll never forget the dude, man. And he's been awesome ever since, man. Shout out to Killer Cam, man. So trust me, I'm Team Cam. I'm definitely Team Cam. Get you a jersey, man, for sure. Yeah, Hannibal, you know what it is. Kenny Pickett jersey was the only real. Yeah, it's like that, man. I had one, man. I'm telling you, bro. I was there. Pittsburgh Toddy, you smart. You going with the Troy or the Hines on game day. Now, Troy is actually one of my only teammates jerseys that I have like signed in, or at least at the old house. I had it actually like up. I got a lot of my teammates jerseys, but I don't put them up because I'm just like, yo, you're my man. You're my homie. I want it for me. But Troy, I'm like, yo, you're Troy. Like, you're baby Jesus. You're Mr. Head and Shoulders. You're different. You get on the wall. All right. In fact, even at the new house, I haven't put the jerseys up yet, but for sure that one, because it's personalized to me, I'm like, oh, it's my man. It's like, thank you, Troy. Appreciate you on that. His jersey is going to get displayed in the house somewhere. I just don't know where just yet, but it's for sure going to get done. But yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, and my little man does have a TJ Watt jersey. And I said that was mandatory. He didn't have a choice because I was like, it's my teammate and he got over 100 career sacks. All right. any of that, like, yeah, bro, we ain't even debating that one. Yeah, you got that jersey, you're gonna like that jersey. He got it in black, white. He about to get the crest one there. It don't matter. Okay. If my teammate is doing that, you're for sure getting that one. For sure. All right. So that's what we be on though, man. That is what we be on. But yeah, man. Oh, shout out to the Barbarian. Ike Taylor. You love an Ike Taylor jersey? Shout out to Ike. That's my dude, man. Love Ike, man. If you ever have had a chance to interact with Ike, man, that is one of the best, most fun dudes to be around. Trust me on that one, man. And highly, highly knowledgeable of the game of football, man. Doing an awesome job with the Steelers as well, man. Working in their scouting department too, man. So shout out, man. But yes, man. Ooh, and shout out to Mike Hood on this one. He has an Al Villanueva. I like it. I remember at one point I had the best selling jersey in the league, man. Shout out to Al, man. Let's ride. All right. Okay. And DC 53, I see you, Cam Love. Look, when my man Tyler had brought up Cam's production, I'm like, man, how could they not be talking about Cam? Not only is he getting to the quarterback, not only is he defending against the run, but you watch him force multiple interceptions, man, tipping passes. We talked about last week the Nick Herbig interception versus Seattle, and then we talk about the tip that he had for the Brandon Echols interception in the end zone. It's like, man, Cam is doing his thing. It was just Cam, his Steeler credit was a little bit low because of the contract dispute, which I understood, but it's like that sometimes. All right. But shout out, man. And I do appreciate all y'all being here today. Also, man, if y'all are enjoying what we are on, hit that like button one time for the culture. And don't forget to subscribe either if you're new to the channel. For my members out there, man, I always appreciate y'all. And anybody that wants to join the upper room, make sure you tap in so that way you can get early access to certain content, certain videos that we drop on the channel. You also get the ability to see some of the one-off personal behind the scenes videos that I put up there as well. And when we drop our Master Most film sessions, like I said, we have 2 new ones getting ready to drop probably later tonight, early tomorrow time frame. Members, they receive the full versions of those, whereas, like I said, for the general public, it's more of a condensed version that we're releasing to them. All right. So make sure that, like I said, man, for the ones that really rocking with the squad, really rocking with the boy over here, make sure y'all show that love in that room as well. And like I said, I am reciprocating. All right. And we still got some other fun stuff playing. I'm shout out to David Dupree. Okay. DD Smalls. You always see him in the chat. Okay. Y'all have him to thank. Okay. Because we're going to have a watch party coming soon. Okay. Because he's already a day. He's like, yo, man, we got to do that. We got to do it for the people, man. The people want to watch party. Get the people watch party. And he's like, yo, we got to do it for the members, though. All right. Because the members been showing love. We got to get the members right. Got to make them feel activated, feel good about it. All right. So we talking through, we getting some stuff squared away, man. Because I want to have some people on with me. So I want to be sitting with myself. And I thought about doing it where it's like, yo, man, revolving fan door, man. Y'all jump on the stream with me while we up here, man. But I'm back and forth on it. So it's like, you know what, we're going to keep it in-house with the squad first watch party. And then maybe we'll get a little, exotic as we go forward with it, man. But yeah, David Dupree, man, that's him, aka DD Smalls, man. He's been pushing. He's like, yo, I'm in this chat, I'm in the comment section, I see how the people react, I see what they on, and they talk about the watch party. I know you want to do it, you talked about it before, man. You got to get into it, man. They loved when you did it. I'm like, yo, I'm with you, baby. I'm with you. All right. Sometimes I'll be slow. Sometimes I'll be slow to the party. Sometimes I'll be wanting to be in a hurry to get there. I'll be like, nah, man, why we got to do all that? You think they deserve it? You think they really want that? You think they're going to appreciate that? He'd be like, nah, David being here vouching. All right. David being here vouching for the chat, man. He'd be over here like, yo, man, the channel would like this, man. Look, you got to add that. I'm like, you know what, man? Respect. All right. So shout out to the team, baby. Shout out to the team. But yes, man, we are going to have a watch party coming up. All right. I'm going to probably put a poll up for my members, after fact, man. One of the, do a community post type thing and just see, some of these away games. Cause I really want to be an away game since we know home games, man, your boy down there getting his work on. Sometimes I be having to stay the whole time as well, man. So trying to do a watch party, not the best. And we know a lot of people like to travel to Pittsburgh for the games. But when it's an away game, a little bit different conversation. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, at least on the front end. But like I said, I'll put that in a community post and I'll list some of the remaining away games, and we'll figure out which game makes the most sense for the members and we'll kind of roll from there. All right, at least for the first one. And then after that, man, we'll have fun and see how it goes, man. But, like I said, shout out to the homie DD Smalls, man. This was heavy on him, man. He was over here like, Moats, man, it's time, man. Come on, baby, come on. I was like, all right, man, I can't stall anymore. You right. Get me going. Okay, sometimes I got to get pushed. Shout out to David Decker. He already throwing his vote. He said November 16th versus the Bengals is his vote. I don't hate that game. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't hate it. Like I said, I want it to be an away game. So that's the thought process, because we know when people come to the city, man, I want y'all focused in the game. I want y'all focused on the squad, man, getting loud and all that other stuff. But sometimes on the road, it's different, man. We get that. So that's why I'm like, yeah, man, we're gonna talk that thing through, man. But I do think it would be a dope thing to do, especially for the members, man. Because like I say, y'all, it's one thing to watch the channel, it's one thing to subscribe, it's one thing to comment, it's another to have a little bit of a skin in the game, so to speak, right? We talk about, DraftKings, like, hey, man, you spice up a little money on that thing, right? So when we talk about the upper room, the fact that y'all actually are, coming out of pocket, man, it's like, hey, bro, y'all are clearly saying that y'all are the next level of supporters of the guy over here, all right? So I gotta make sure y'all love the right way, okay? So that is the mindset. Oh, X Concepts, why are you being like this? Why do you want to be like this? AFC Championship game, when Steelers play, he could have just left it when Steelers play. He has to put and beat the Bills. Like, why you want to do all that? X Concepts, why you want to? I have not done. I've been on my best behavior all season long. Okay, I've been on my best behavior. I haven't talked about, the blue and red. I haven't wore any of the blue and red. Okay, I just been chilling. I've been chilling. And even come here and say all this. This is crazy. This is mean. Be nice. The Bills did us all a favor by beating the Ravens week 1 and now making everybody feel like, oh, the Ravens are sweet. All right, Detroit then got off on them. Now we over here like, hold on, now we thought Detroit was weak because of what the Packers did to Detroit. All right, so the Bills did us a favor. Don't be talking crazy like that versus the Bills, man. Come on, man. Hey, stall him out, man. Stall him out, X. Hey, come on, man. Now, Leah, don't you do that, Leah. Leah, don't you do that. I did not say that, Leah. I just simply said, why would you have to put, and beat? Because you maybe are jinxing it. You ever thought about that? I just want to jinx it. I just want to make sure that, hey, man, we don't do anything to take away from our chances of being successful. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Emphasis on our chance of being successful. Okay. Yeah. Rashad Jones, fix that tone right now. Man. Chill, man. You gotta chill, baby. I know me, man. I got the Bucko picture here. This is the 5-5 picture, okay? Little man was at school today. He says, Dad, I got a chance to make your jersey when I was in art class with Play-Doh. I said, word, what jersey you make? He said, well, I was going to do the Bills one at first because I really like the 52. But he said, all my friends really know you from Steelers and YouTube. So I did 55 instead. I said, you know what? It's a great idea, man. All right. So here we go, Steelers. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. But I'm on your team. All right. We black and gold. Don't do me like that, guys. I'm on your team. Us. We. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. So yeah, man. And it's funny. I be thinking about every time I'm like, yo, what do I got on my shirt today? Let me make sure I'm copacetic, guy. I want to rile the crowd up today. Not just yet. It's too early for that right now. All right. But either way, man, we are going to have a watch party. Like I said, it's going to be a blast, man. And like I said, I am going to reach out to the members, man. I am able to communicate with you guys in the community post specifically for you guys. So like I said, just keep an eye out on that type of stuff, man. And we'll go from there. But like I said, it will be fun. And, that's how it's supposed to be. But yeah, Steelers Nation, man, y'all, they for sure tried to get me over here sweating, man. I'm like, yo, I get nervous when y'all be putting this pressure on me, man. I be feeling like I'm in trouble. I'm like, I don't want to be in trouble. I ain't do it. I'm innocent. I ain't do it, man. And shout out to G getting some love. Hannibal says, yo, smart son. I'm with you, man. He was like, yo, Pops. They didn't even that's the Steelers. I'm like, great idea. Great. That's why you got the Steelers jersey on right now. Come on, bro. I'm with you, man. But y'all hit that like button one time for the culture, and don't forget to subscribe either if you are new to the channel and are enjoying yourselves. Like I said, man, so far, man, we talked about the college quarterback prospects, man, for the 2026 draft class potentially, and just, that storyline, how those guys are playing and what we like and don't like. That was earlier in the show. Just got off the phone with my man Tyler Candelaria. We always see him doing shorts on the channel, man, giving his previews, game reactions, and stuff like that. But it was really good to hear his perception on what we've seen through these first 3 games, and almost that mix of, man, belief, but still some, skepticism about the long-term success. But always going back to that fan part of, man, I love them, I believe in them, and I want them to win. So I do like that, man. That was absolutely a blast, man. But now we will take a quick, around the league looksy loo. Okay, so shout out to the around the league talk, because it's always fun, man, when we get a chance to peek and see what's happening, right? Who has issues and who doesn't. But more importantly, man, when we're talking about here, was that Monday around the league? It was more so, man, the injury updates, right, man? We talked about Najee, talked about Connor and company, man, going down with injuries. Now, this week, a little bit different, right? So for around the league info, man, first things first, we had a couple of, there were a couple of interesting names being linked to workouts with different organizations. We obviously saw here, I did a little quick video on it where we had Nate Herbig, right, come in. Nate Herbig, big brother of Nick Herbig, the flying Hawaiian, right? The way that man been pass rushing and going crazy out there. But we did get a chance to, we obviously know with Nate Herbig, he's been a part of the team before, was that 2 years ago, if I remember correctly, played guard, played center for us, versatile, big body, initially did retire this offseason, though. If I remember, I do remember saying retired. All right. But for the Steelers, they ended up losing one of their depth guys, Max, right? Max, I think it's Scarpling. I think that's how you say his last name, tore his ACL. So that was one of our interior guys that did provide us with some depth. So with that, they did bring in Nate Herbig for a workout. Familiar here. We obviously know what he can do in terms of a playing standpoint. He's been successful and productive in this league, whether you're talking about his time with the Jets or even when he came here with us. So we will see, like I said, man, if they're going to sign him and what that does look like. But more importantly, I do like the fact that they already have spun the tires and they're continuing to look at different things or different players that could help us in the trenches, because we are struggling there, right? In terms of consistency, whether it's run protection or run blocking, which to me has stood out the most, and to a degree, the pass blocking as well. Both of those elements, man, we know we need help with. And the fact that, we're trying to find that help first through, improving our depth. We obviously know, we have brought in Andres Pete earlier in the preseason. So that is something, like I said, man, just keep an eye on in terms of who we may or may not sign. But we did, like I said, bring in Nate Herbig for a workout. The other interesting name that I did want to bring up as well, man, was Shiloh Sanders, right? We talk about Shiloh Sanders, older brother to Shador Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders, right? Prime time. He had a tryout, a workout with the San Francisco 49ers. So obviously we know he had a workout and was in the preseason with Tampa Bay. That didn't work out. So for him to get the opportunity to work out, like I said, man, for the Niners, interested, man, I'll see. We'll see if, anything comes from that in terms of getting signed and stuff like that. But like I said, one of those notable names, man, and that is the cool part about the NFL, man. You have that type of talent just around, right? Said, man, Shiloh started in college, man, productive player, fringe draft type of player, right? But in terms of coming in for a tryout, it's like, man, that's a dude that's better than a lot of safeties that aren't employed NFL-wise, right? But it just also lets you know that, hey, man, at this level, it is tough. It is tough to not just, make it here, but to stay here as well, man. So, like I said, it was cool to see both of those names as well. But like I said, man, for me, I do like the Herbig workout. Like I said, man, I think that that's a type of player that puts me in the mindset that, okay, that's more of what I want. I need big body people movers or people that can give me the illusion of that, right? And I do feel like Herbig does present more of that in his profile than more of a finesse type of, interior offensive lineman. So I do like that about him. Some of the other interesting things though happening around the league. Y'all know our quarterback from a year ago, right? Not Justin Fields, because we know Justin Fields, he was dealing with the concussion situation, right? We'll see if he returns this week. But Russell Wilson. Russ obviously down there with the Giants, man. Mixed reviews, right? One game hot, one game cold. Another game not so cold or not so hot. And the Giants are making the switch. They're going with Jaxson Dart, starting the rookie versus the Chargers this week. Now, I did want to take a little bit of second or take some time real quick to get your thoughts on this as well. So drop it in the comment section how you guys feel about starting the rookie Jaxson Dart week 4 versus, the Chargers instead of allowing Russ or even going to Jameis Winston to protect the young player, because we here in Pittsburgh remember this a similar scenario where we had Mitch Trubisky out there, and within what I think it was 3 games tops, we ended up making our switch to Kenny Pickett. And some people feel like, he got out there too soon, and that did kind of hurt where he was in terms of what he developed into. Others feel like, man, that was good for him to get out there. But what is your thoughts on it? Because I personally feel like, man, that's like, it seems like fast if you brought in Russ and Jameis Winston. But maybe that's my old school mindset. Because some people do have that mindset of, man, you let young guys sit, develop, learn, watch, then you put them out there. But there is a faction that does feel like, man, you're not going to learn anything sitting on the bench. And I do agree with that to an extent, because there was a time when I was predominantly in that role of having to be a backup. And it's like, yeah, you can learn certain things, but it is still no experience like in-game experience. And that was one of the things that when I look at what they're trying to do with Jaxson Dart, I'm like, is that, what they're kind of leaning to? But that's why I was like, maybe it's me. So I do want to get your thoughts on that though. All right. Because Jaxson Dart's talented as heck. We saw that this preseason, right? Big arm, has the ability to, utilize his legs. And he's a player that we thought potentially, if he was going to be on the back end of that first round, we would be interested in drafting him. Problem was the Giants took him super early, and it is what it is. But when you look at, just the Giants as a whole, that doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like a situation that is set up for a young player to go in there and have success. So to me, putting a young kid in a situation that is already dumpster fire-ish, and now we're putting them not just in, we're putting in the New York media market versus the LA Chargers, who you heard Tyler, you heard me talk about them. Like, we think that's a legit team on, in all 3 phases. I just question, man, if it's too soon, because I personally feel like it is. I do think that, man, to a degree, you're setting this kid up for failure. And it's like, it's already hard enough to win in this league. It's already hard enough to play well in this league. And it's like, man, it's almost like, man, we're just trying to see what's the next thing. We don't really wait to let it develop. And obviously, they moved on from Daniel Jones, and we can see how Indiana Jones looks. But obviously, when Daniel Jones was in New York, he wasn't playing the way that we seen him play these first couple of games in Indianapolis. With Russ, up and down, right? I just thought that maybe Jameis would be the kind of buffer in between that. But like I said, man, that's kind of my thoughts on it, man. Let me see how y'all feel about it in the comment section. All right. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Mike Hood, he says, I think it's too soon for the young guy. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. DC53 says they on the Kenny plan. Oh, Lord, he got the crying emojis. I'm telling you, y'all know how that go, man. Y'all throw him out there too soon. And the thing is, we don't adjust the expectations just because we've adjusted the timeline, right? The timeline initially is, oh yeah, we want this young player to sit till week 10. We want this young player to sit all of year 1. We drafted these 2 players in here, and that's the mindset. So you shouldn't see him and, give him a hard review until next year. Well, that changes when you put him in after 3 games. But now you don't get to necessarily give him that same ability to develop. It's like, we want to see what you are right now. And if it doesn't look good today, so be it. And it's like, man, he set my man up for failure a little bit. Okay, now Hannibal says, how does Russ benching affect the draft pick stats in terms of the comp pick? It doesn't help it, obviously, because I'm sure to a degree he has to play a certain amount of snaps, but at the same time, it's more so predicated, from my understanding, the comp pick, it's more predicated on the contract and how much money he received on it. I'm not caught up in the Russ benching. I'm not caught up in the Najee injury, because neither one of them are going to give us the big return. The 2 big returns that we're going to get, Justin Fields and Dan Moore. You look at what them 2 dudes signed for. Those are the 3rd round draft comp picks that we are anticipating, or a worst case 4th round draft pick comp picks is what we're anticipating receiving for those 2, because of the size of the contracts. Russ contract, to me, isn't going to be anything more than a comp 6. You know what I mean? I think we're in that range with him. So, and that's the same case with Najee also. So I'm not too caught up in that right now. But like I said, man, it doesn't help it though as a whole. So do shout out to you on that, man. Oh, and you know what? I see what you're saying now. Let me actually. I peep how you're affecting the draft pick status. At first, I was thinking you were talking about from the comp status, but now that I look at Black and Yellow Texas, still he says they clearly benched Russ this early due to the draft picks we get tied to him, and that's specifically what you're talking about. So to a degree, if we're playing, conspiracy theorists, sure. My big issue with that is this though. In order for the Giants to get the draft pick that they feel like is the best version of the deal for us, if that involves them losing and losing a substantial amount of games, Brian Dable and company aren't even going to be there to even get a chance to utilize and appreciate this pick. Those guys are going to get fired. I didn't look at this move as a long-term. They're worried about draft positioning or comp pick positioning. I looked at this as they're trying to do whatever it takes to get a spark to try to find some consistency because they need to win. And if they do not win this year, that staff is getting fired. And that's this level. And that's why it's like, man, I get the frustration that we have at times with Coach Tomlin in terms of why don't we try more things? Why don't we open it up more offensively, defensively? Why don't we take more risks, take more chances? But when you see how quickly, man, teams will move on from you when you lose, it's like, bro, why even run that? Why even entertain that? Go with what you know, and we can add little things to that, but go with what you know. And that's kind of the flip side of what we're doing here in Pittsburgh versus kind of what the Giants are doing when you see some of these big changes. But I personally don't think that this is a move where they're intentionally trying to get the best draft pick. I'm like, they're going to all get fired before they even get a chance to use that pick, man. Now, Hannibal, this is where I'm with you on. I for sure would have waited for a lesser team. I'm like, bro, the Chargers, that's like we threw Kenny Pickett out there and his first start was against the Bills. You're like, bro, you know what you throwing him out there too? Why you want to do that? You think that's a good idea? I don't like that idea. I don't like that at all. No. So, shout out to DM4191 as well. And you always show love too, man. We appreciate you from the heart. He says, let J-Bo, shout out to James Winston, go out and sling it. That would have been my approach. And if I'm worried about the draft thing, I'm like, I can still accomplish that by putting Jameis out there, while at the same time, if I'm top-down organization, while still protecting Jaxson Dart. Now, the conversation might be, hey, if we're going to clear house anyways, let's find out what Jaxson Dart is, and then that way we'll see when the new coach comes in, right? If this goes belly up, the new coach can then have a better understanding of who he has at quarterback and if he wants to utilize that guy or go in a different direction. We've seen this plenty of times, man, where we say, okay, he was drafted here, but this organization or this front office, they weren't the guys that brought him in. So do they love him, or is it kind of, hey, we're going to make this work until it doesn't work type of concept? That's the interesting thing, man, when we talk about, with the Giants are in right now. But like I said, man, I'm just looking at it like, why? I think it's too soon. I think it's a little too soon, man. And this is, here you go, Cookie Monster. Dable, he's desperate for a spark. And that's for sure the thing that I'm on, man. I'm like, yo, I think that it's that. Like, yo, they need to do whatever, because you listen to even how Malik Neighbors talked about them a year ago, man, when they moved on from Daniel Jones, and he was low-key pissed about it. Like, you could just visibly see him and then even listening to him talk. But I'm like, Giants got multiple issues going on, man. It ain't just a quarterback issue, it's multiple things. But it's like we're looking for the quick fix. It's like, man, but the Giants actually, the things that we do as Steelers Nation, like as fans, right, we'll throw out a lot of things, but how many of it actually happens? Right? We're like, yo, fire this dude, bench that guy, right? We'll say it, and it's like, yo, we know it ain't really gonna happen, right? Because Steelers are patient. They're gonna give dudes, ample opportunity to show or even correct errors. Whereas when you look at the Giants, it's like, oh, y'all think it sucks? Oh, y'all don't like this quarterback? Y'all want another one? I got you. Oh, y'all don't like who? I'll bench him too. I ain't tripping. It's like, oh man, you gotta slow down a little bit, man. They'll breathe a little bit, fella, breathe. But it's hard to have that type of patience also when your job is on the line, and every week it's like, man, are they gonna look good? Are they gonna struggle? Sometimes you don't want to deal with that, man. So I can for sure understand it, man. I can for sure understand it. Michael G said, yo, the Giants be taking surveys, man. I swear I'm over here like, yo, what do y'all be doing? Y'all are tripping, man. Some of the moves they make, I'm like, I ain't with that. Or excuse me, he says polls, because polls sound cool. You know, I'm a poll guy. All right. But yeah, for sure, man. But shout out to the Giants, man, and hopefully everything will work out for the homie Jaxson Dart. All right. Not a big fan of what they're doing over there, but to each their own. Okay. One of the other things, though, that I did want to talk about from around the league standpoint, as we continue, throughout the season, not only are we focusing on what we are doing here in the black and gold, I also said that, I want to make sure that we are kind of looking around and seeing how they talk about us league-wide, what we looking like, right? So one of the things that they obviously do all the time, ESPN Power Rankings, I did just want to see from last week to this week what the conversation is. How are we being viewed around the league? Because we know how we view ourselves. And a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, I'll just say, man, depending on who you are as an individual, if you're more of an optimistic person, you look at this team with a glass half full perspective, and you think that they're probably better than a good amount of teams at this level. If you are more on the pessimistic side, you look at this team and you say, man, they're not better than anyone. They suck. They're trash. We obviously know that them sitting at 2-1 kind of gives us a little bit of confusion, because it's like 2-1 says good, but when we look at some of the minutia in terms of how they acquired those 2 victories and that 1 loss, it doesn't necessarily feel as if our record should reflect that, but it does. And that's the thing. We say, man, you can't take the wins off the board. You won the game. So it doesn't matter what you did well or what you struggled with. Did you win when it mattered the most? And that was ultimately what we have been doing. So I did, like I said, man, want to take some time to look around the league and just see, like I said, how we are viewed. So ESPN every week, they rank, all 32 teams in the sense of, who they think is the best team, who they think is the worst team. So for context, right, just last week, the Steelers were ranked as the 21st best team according to ESPN, right? That's where they had them located at, 21st. So not the worst team, right? But they were 1-1. That was following the loss to the Seahawks. Following the victory versus the Patriots, they have bumped us up to number 17. And what they specifically say, and shout out to Brooke Pryor, who was actually wrote this up, man. She be doing her thing, man. Shout out to Brooke. But she says, some of the big issues, obviously, on defense are giving up explosive plays. That's the 3rd and longs that a lot of us have complained about, right? Why is that happening? Or even in weeks 1 and week 2, the explosive pass plays that we gave up to Jaxson Smith and Jigba, to Garrett Wilson, right? It was like, man, we saw a little bit too much of that pop up on our tape. But what she says is the Steelers wouldn't have beaten the Patriots without getting 5 takeaways. The defense has largely been boom or bust this season. Pittsburgh has given up a league high 32 explosive plays, and that's defined as 10 yards or longer. 4 of those turned into touchdowns, including a 4th down 16-yard throw from New England quarterback Drake made a Hunter Henry. Yep. We obviously remember what happened in that Seahawks game with old Kenneth Gainwell as well, but I digress. She says that tied the game in the 4th quarter. Some of that is the result of injuries to starters and communication issues with new personnel. But the Steelers have to find more defensive consistency. And honestly, I would agree with her. I think she was spot on with that, man. Love the turnovers, love the way that we were able to, create that splash and get out of that stadium with a victory. But the explosive plays that we have allowed, and the fact that, they count them at 10 plays or 10 yards or more, which is a little bit different from a player's perspective. We break them down into two categories for explosive plays: explosive runs and explosive passes. Explosive runs are any run over 10, explosive passes are anything over 15, just for, so you can kind of understand how we view the explosive play elements of it. So her saying 32 to me is a little bit high, but if that's the metric they use, I understand that. Now, shout out to DC53 because he says 17 is generous. So I do want to look, though, to see who are some of the teams that they have rated in front of us, who are the teams they have rated behind us. And we can figure out, if we're properly rated, underrated, or overrated. Worst team in the league right now, according to ESPN, is the New Orleans Saints. They're sitting at 0-3. They were ranked 32 last week. They ranked 32 again this week. I don't think a lot of y'all are taking Saints over Steelers. Just throwing that out there. Titans, 31st overall in terms of how they have them ranked. They were 27th in week 2. Obviously, they had a nice closer loss, and now they had a blowout loss to the Colts this past game, man. So they're sitting at 0-3 right now. They have them as the 31st ranked team. I don't think anybody is taking Titans over us right now, so that's good too. Giants were ranked 29th according to the ESPN Top 32, and now they dropped down to 30th this week, following the 22-9 loss to the Chiefs, who, like I said, I watched the Chiefs. I don't think that they're as good as they've been in years past. And I think that it has caught up to them, man, in terms of the roster and, the available pieces that they had to them. But they still found a way to get out of that Giant Stadium. At number 29, they got the Miami Dolphins. They were ranked 28th last week. They're 0-3 also. They just got what the Bills on Thursday night, 31-21. All right. So far, so good. All right. So far, so good. Got the Jets. Shout out to the Jets. Now, I am surprised. Well, not surprised, actually, because Justin Fields got hurt already. So that doesn't surprise me. But the Jets are 0-3. They got hurt. Was it the second game? Yeah, literally second game, because Tyrod Taylor just started this past game. He got hurt versus Buffalo. Now that I think about it. Excuse me on that one. So with them right now, man, 0-3, and one of the biggest issues they say for them on defense, they have 0 takeaways this season. Right? We talked about I didn't say the issues for the other teams. Dolphins, the biggest issues they said were forcing turnovers. New York Giants, they said they're not getting enough sacks from a defense standpoint. Titans, talked about them, man, missing a ton of tackles. And for the Saints, they give up a lot of explosive plays, right? But let's keep it going. The 27th ranked team, according to the ESPN Top 32, are the Carolina Panthers. They finally got off the snide this week, man. They were ranked at 31st a week ago, but they beat the Falcons 30-0. Some people thought the Falcons was nice. I was believing in them a little bit, but at the same time, you can see how it's a week-to-week league. 30-0. The Falcons beat the Patriots. So they moved to 27th overall. Hey, let me know, though, any of y'all taking, Panthers over Steelers, all right? I don't think there's a long list of that, but we'll keep it going, all right? We for sure going to keep it going. Because next up, they have the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland did get off the snide. They got their victory versus the Packers this week, right? 13-10. Some people feel like the Packers kind of let it go at the end, since they were winning for the majority of the game up until I think it was the final 10 minutes. But the Browns, man, they moved to 1-2. And they also, I think their defense is nice as heck, but they only have one takeaway this year also, all right, from a defensive standpoint. Now, in terms of offense for them, we know it's a little bit of a dumpster fire, right? And not even dumpster fire in the sense of incompetence, because we know Kevin Stefanski is a dope coach. He knows what he's doing, but they're figuring out the quarterback stuff. Obviously, Joe Flacco is the guy that's going for them right now. We'll see how that looks. We know they made the transition at running back. Jenkins does look good. Jenkins looks good, but as a whole, to me, they're more of a run team right now, man. They trying to figure out everything. They can run the ball, play defense, keep it close to the vest, but they still are struggling right now. And I know DC 53. I know you ain't about to say Cleveland, you taking them over us. So I ain't gonna hold you on that one. All right. We just beat the 25th ranked team. That was the Patriots. All right. They were ranked 24th last week. They were ranked 21st week. We just beat them. All right. Funny thing, they say for their big issue on defense is the lack of turnovers. Then obviously we know the turnovers that they do have on the other side of the ball. So protecting the ball is an issue for them as well. Cowboys, they got at 24. Cowboys sitting 1-2 right now. They obviously got whooped by the Bears. How y'all feel about the Bears? Because I thought the Bears was kind of cheeks, and the Bears won 31-14. Right? It was week to week, but Cowboys sitting at 1-2 also right now. Okay, and we know with the Cowboys, man, offensively, when they are on, they can go. CeeDee Lamb banged up right now. George Pickens was a little bit frustrated, but he did touch paint. All right. But their defense is trash. They not stopping anybody, right? We've seen that. How many explosive plays week in and week out, and why do you think Chicago looks so good against them, right? So they're at 24. At 23, the Chicago Bears, they're 1-2. Their one victory was against who? The team we was just talking about, the Dallas Cowboys, right? So we go league wide, and we just talking about them. It's like, oh, okay, check out their pass rush. Not the best. They don't get home a lot, all right? Now, at 22, you got the Vegas Raiders. I like Geno. I'm a Geno Smith guy. I like Genty to a degree. I think early on, I still need to see more of his game to see if it's going to actually translate to this level early on, though. It's like, man, he's still explosive. He's still fiery, but it doesn't look like Boise State. And it's a natural transition. That's what happens when you go from the collegiate ranks to this level. We talked about Caleb Johnson and how he's dealing with an adjustment. Genty, same way, not as, extreme, but it doesn't look the same way it was looking early on, and that's just a part of this level. But for them, they're sitting at 1-2. They obviously took the L to the Commanders, got beat pretty bad, 41-24. They're a good team, though, in some parts of it because of Geno, because of what he brings in terms of that calming voice, that true veteran quarterback, but they still seem, like they missing stuff. And it's hard for me to put them ahead of us right now based off of, number one, their record, but more importantly, even what they have on their roster offensively and defensively. I'm not a fan of it over what we currently bring out when we talk about our quarterback and our receivers and our pass rushers, heck, even our kicker, unless you're a Daniel Carlson guy. I'll take Boston of all the boys. All right. Even though this kicker this week for the Vikings, my man hit from 62. We'll talk about that tomorrow, though. All right. But hey, my man hit from 62. I said, whoa, boss. He said, we got action. All right. But let's keep it going, though, man. Texans. I know the Texans are supposed to be the fan favorite, one of the Super Bowl favorites or predicted teams. And they're sitting at 0-3. They were ranked at 14th last week, dropped to 21st this week. And they're going to be by the Jacksonville Jaguars, 17-10. A lot of y'all don't even think Jacksonville Jaguars are good. I'm in the minority when I talk Jacksonville because I like Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne exclusively because of what they did at Clemson. I like Brian Thomas Jr. because he's my fantasy football wide receiver. He be giving me points. I need him. All right. And other than that, because in the group chat, we got this thing about like half of us believe Travis Hunter can play offense and defense at this level. And then the other half think Travis Hunter is going to get completely exposed and obliterated playing both ways at this level. That's about the only reason why I be tapping into Jacksonville. Okay. But it's a week-to-week league. We said that, right? And we already brought up Jacksonville, right? We said, man, did we get to Jacksonville yet? No, we have not got to Jacksonville yet. But I said, man, Jacksonville 17-10 knocked off the Texans. Like I said, Texans supposed to have been good this year. They're sitting at 0-3 right now. Cincinnati Bengals. They were ranked at 12th last week. We obviously know they had the injury to Joe Burrow. Jake Browning looked good last week. And then this week, it was up and down from him. I won't put the 48-10 exclusively on him because you look at the way two of the mistakes were on him. The pick six for sure was on Jake Browning. For sure, he got confused. He had another interception where it was like, you panicked. Felt like the pressure got to him a little bit. But the rest of that, that ain't on him. Dude, they had 3 turnovers in 4 plays. Shoot, they had a pick six and a fumble recovery for a house call. But the flip side was Cincinnati was kind of moving the ball, though. And that was the weird part about it, all right? But Cincy, without Joe Burrow, we feel like they're limited. If we're being fully transparent, right? We feel like Cincinnati, without Joe Burrow, it doesn't have the same flame, right? It looks good. It still has some of that Jamar Chase, some of that T. Higgins. You see a little bit of Samaje Perine. But as a whole, we're like, bro, it's missing it, right? It's like watered down tea. It's like, man, need a little, you got to freshen the thing up a little bit, man. This ain't hitting the same way it used to be, baby. All right? That's how I look at Cincinnati right now, man. But they are currently at 2-1. So we will see how that continues to age because they were 2-0, but they just dropped their first one minus Joe Burrow. So let's see how that looks following that. Atlanta Falcons are the 19th ranked team, according to ESPN. Atlanta, they just got beat by the Panthers. Bryce Young and them, right? Nobody thinks Bryce Young is good. I already know Bryce Young, right? And Bryce has been a work in progress, right? Carolina's a work in progress as a whole. But them boys beat Atlanta 30-0. So Atlanta now sits at 1-2. What's our confidence level in Atlanta, right? They firing coaches. Shoot, my man Ike Hillier. Shout out to Ike. God, dog, they fired him this week. And you look online, they're like, yo, don't fire him. You need to fire the other guy. You need to fire the coordinator. I'm like, God dang. And they're like, yo, fire Raheem after that. So I'm like, God dang, bro, step man on there. What y'all got going on there, boy? Jeez. But that's how they're being talked about right now, right? So once again, hey, I know only in Pittsburgh, we're the only team that sucks. We're the only team that has expectations and we're not living up to it. I understand that, but I'm like, I could have sworn Atlanta was supposed to be good in the NFC North or South, excuse me. I could have sworn that they were supposed to compete with the Tampas of the world and with Michael Penix and what was supposed to be doing over there, supposed to hit the ground running, but they're sitting at 1-2 and just got beat 30-0 versus the Carolina Panthers. I digress. Let's keep it going though, baby. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars. We said, man, I like Jacksonville. I like what they doing. I like Travis. I like Trevor. I like that combo, man. But they won obviously last week 17-10. They had a big jump. They were at 23 in terms of their ranking last week, excuse me, and now they're ranked 18th on the ESPN top 32. So those are the teams directly behind us. I just wanted to read them off first to see are any of them teams throughout this first 3 weeks, any of those teams I just read off, you're taking above the Steelers, you're putting above the Steelers right now, drop it in the comment section. Let me know who. Let's talk about them. Because I'm gonna read the 16 teams that we have in front, and I think we'll also be looking at them with some similar, conversations, some similar, thoughts. But I just read the teams that are behind us. So are we overrated? Is this a generous 17? Like, I really want to know because I'm confused at time when I look at where we are and I just peek around the league. I'm like, I know when I just stay here the whole time, it feels like we trash. It feels like our defense sucks. It feels like my offense sucks. It feels like my coaches suck. I feel like everything sucks, right? And then when I look around the league, I'm like, wait a daggone minute. Y'all lied to me. Y'all told me we was cheeks. Y'all lied to me. Y'all told me we were the only teams that weren't living up to expectations. Y'all told me we were the only team that, our talented young players aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's what y'all told me, man. I don't know. DC-53, which one? Just which name? Don't tell me, I don't know, we looking like scrubs of them teams I just named. Which one of them? That's what I wanted to put a name on it, baby. All right. We ain't high from it. Put a name on it. All right. Because we about to hit this next 16 that's in front of us. I'm going to talk about them too. All right. But that's my only thing, man. Now we play any of those top 10s. It's BTA. We don't know that. We could only play the teams that we could play. The same way all them other teams we didn't read were supposed to be nice, supposed to be this and that. Y'all let me know what your records are 3 games. This is what we're looking at. And we're going to keep doing this. Trust me, man. Every week, every 2-3 weeks, we're going to pull this back up because I want to know. I want to see how we talk about ourselves and how they talk about us. I'm with you, baby. But I really want to know, man. I really want to know. All right. So let's get back to this list then, baby. Let's get back to the list. And shout out to everybody that's participating as well, man. I like when we get to participate and we do some around the league like this, all right? Hit the like button and subscribe. See, we over here having a little bit of fun. Now, let's see the 16 teams that they have rated ahead of us. And let's see, do we agree? Because I truly am hard-pressed to have a hard stance that any of those teams behind us are better than us as we see here today. And that's my thing in DC-53. I love the fact that you brought up the health and why that, and that's the big reason why you're not confident. Trust me, that's part of why I am confident because we don't have the guys that are gone for the season. Deshaun Elliott might mess around and play this, like in a week. JPJ might play in a week. You see what I mean? So it's like our guys are coming back. We haven't had, when I look at Arizona, their lead running back, the guy who's been the bruise of the face, the guy who's really brought a physical demeanor for them the past couple of years, James Conner's gone for the year. That to me is a major blow. He's not going back this year. When you talk about them first couple of games, he's like, bro, we winning and we still banged up. We just saw Derek Harmon, our first round draft pick. We just saw him in week 3 and it was in a limited capacity. I'm like, man, we still missing key players. So that's the thing. I'm just like, all right, just looking around, man. I'm like, man, what of those teams that we're ranked ahead of makes me feel like, oh man, they should be nice, right? So now let's talk about the teams that they do have ahead of us and let's see, do we agree with them? Because some of these teams I do feel like, yeah, they got legitimate stances and we all know those teams, but let's see some of these other teams and let's see if y'all agree as well. So Arizona Cardinals are the 16th ranked team. Talked about them. They're sitting at 2-1 right now. They just lost to the 49ers 16-15. They struggle in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback, but we know the big thing, like I just said, for them is James Conner. He just had the big, nasty injury, man. Definitely need my dude to bounce back, man, but take your time. Take your time because that was one of them serious ones. So I have questions about what that offense looks like because now it goes back to how Kyler Murray had to play when they didn't have James Conner. And that's when they would struggle when it becomes more of a finesse and just pass, try to beat you on the perimeter element versus having that back that can hit it in the A and B gap, but also give you some of that pass game, man. And that's what James Conner was doing out there. He was doing his thing. He's been doing his thing for the past couple of years out there, man. So I have questions about what that looks like going forward, largely due to the injury. Denver Broncos, they got him at 15. They're 1-2. I think Denver is nice. I'm not going to hold you. Their second loss came to the Chargers. They lost 23-20. Denver, to me, I think is a legit team. I like what I see from Bo Nix. I'm not a Bo Nix fan, but I think Bo Nix and Sean Payton complement each other extremely well. I think they run the ball and their defense is lights out. We obviously know what Pat Surtain could do over there. I think that they have a complete team. They were just young a year ago with Bo Nix. Now they're looking a little bit more mature, but we will still see because I still have my questions about Bo Nix when he is forced to do more of the playmaking. Right now, if you don't force him out of that, man, he's cooking with Sean Payton. But those are some of my concerns with them. But I think that they should be rated ahead of the Steelers. No ifs, ands, or buts. I think Denver, even at 1-2, is a better team right now. But we will see, though, right? In terms of how it continues to play out. The 14th ranked team. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about the Seahawks. They sitting at 2-1. Y'all watch the same game we watched. They had a lot of success. We had a lot of success. We all felt like, man, it was a couple plays that really boiled down to, but we all pointed to the biggest play in it that resulted in points, right? In terms of the special teams mistake that we had. But they're sitting at 2-1. They just beat the Saints 44-13. Okay. They're the 14th ranked team. They beat us. So I do feel like, yeah, they have to be rated ahead of us because they won the matchup. They won the head-to-head. The same way we beat the Patriots in the head-to-head. It's like, yo, we ahead of them. Seattle, they're ahead of us right now. They for sure beat us, man. And it was a fair game. Like, they have stuff go their way. We have some stuff go our way. But at the end, they didn't make the mistakes that we made. And that is why it's like, yeah. Now, if we got the chance to play them again, would it be different? Unfortunately, we won't know unless it's the Super Bowl. So that's that. The Minnesota Vikings. Whew. I ain't gonna hold you. Minnesota tough. All right. I've watched them. I'm a fan of them. I'm really a fan of Flores, though, man. I like what Flo does, man, in terms of his approach. But to me, man, it's like, yeah, Minnesota, that's going to be an interesting one. I think this is going to be our best test because, honestly, as much as I just, talked about Seattle and I said, yeah, man, they have to be better because they won the matchup. If you ask me, in your heart, most, do you really feel like if it was one game, life on the line, you're taking the Seattle Seahawks over the Steelers? No, I'm not. I'm going to take the Steelers. But the problem is this. We don't have that one game scenario life on the line. What we do have is what happened in week 2 at Acrisure Stadium. It sucks. We might not agree with it. We might feel like, yeah, if you play this game 10 times, we should beat them 6 of them times. But we didn't. The one that mattered most, we did not win that one. So I can't put us ahead of them. It's the competitor in me. All right. I'm sorry about that, Tom. But you know how I feel about you, baby. You know it's all love. But Minnesota, they at 13 right now. They were at 20th last week, right? Because they had their injury at quarterback, switching over to Carson Wentz. But then they got a chance to play Cincinnati, beat them 48-10, and now they moved up to 13. Now they sit at 2-1. And we're not going to discredit what the Vikings did. But at the same time, there were certain parts of that Bengals team where you're asking yourself, are you guys like intentionally doing this? And specifically, man, when you see 3 turnovers happen within 4 snaps of the football, 3 turnovers for the Bengals in 4 plays, not 4 series, not 4 drives, 4 plays. At this level, that is how you get destroyed. It was literally 34-3 at halftime. And you had 2 defensive touchdowns, and they had already 4 turnovers within those first 2 quarters, and they hit a 62-yard field goal. They overwhelmed the Bengals. To me, though, I also look at the flip side and say, man, Cincinnati has success against. They moved the ball on them. But you can't beat yourself at this level, man. And Minnesota is a good enough team to take advantage of your mistakes. Well, Cincinnati also has question marks on defense. So you talk about bad situation and then make it worse. Yeah, that's what you get. So right now, on paper, I like Minnesota ahead, but I am anxious to see Sunday. You'll hear my breakdown more so tomorrow when me and Tanisha talk victory formation, and I'll really talk about, strengths, weaknesses, and what we can do to attack, and ultimately our best path for victory. Like I said, we'll do that tomorrow. But I don't hate the Vikings being ranked at 13, especially after what they just did to Cincinnati. How are we going to not say this team is number 12? The Indianapolis Colts, led by Indiana Jones. Daniel Jones got them boys at 3-0. They just beat the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick, 41-20. We can ask how valid the Colts record is. We can ask ourselves, based on the quality of the opponents that they've played against, is this real or is it fool's gold? You know, the things that we do to ourselves when we sitting there too, when they like, well, hold on, who we beat? Who we playing on? It's like, yo, y'all be doing that to the other teams, right? They beat the Titans. Titans 0-3. Titans 31st ranked team in the league. Y'all care about that, right? Everybody, Indiana Jones. So it's like, man, with the Colts, though, I look at them like, yo, they looking good. They're scoring a ton of points, man. They're playing good defense. They're protecting the ball. What's not to like about them right now, man? Based off these first 3 games now, can they sustain it? But who's to say they can't? Until they prove otherwise, and that's the beauty of the NFL, and that's why I say it's week to week, because this is your resume. It's living and it's breathing. They change up, man. They get beat these next 2 games. We're not going to be as high on the Colts or Daniel Jones, but for right now, I like them at 12. San Francisco at 11. I don't know. I don't. They beat the Cardinals 16-15. We said that's the James Conner game. Granted, San Francisco is undefeated 3-0. They had them ranked at 11 last week, and they did not move. They have them exactly in the same spot. But my concern is they just lost their best pass rush, their best defensive player. Well, you can make a case between him and Fred Warner, right? But Nick Bosa, ACL, he's done for the year. That is going to have an impact. That's going to hurt them in a big way from a defensive standpoint. But at the same time, we also have to see, how the guys that are going to step up in this place, if they can keep that going from a defensive standpoint, because offensively, we know, man, when Brock Purdy is out there and healthy, they could be a problem. Now, Mac Jones has been out there because Brock Purdy hasn't been healthy, and that's also part of the issue, but they're finding ways to win. Now, do I think if they came out with Mac Jones and played us, we losing to them? I don't see that. And honestly, if San Fran hadn't been who San Fran has been, played in 2 Super Bowls in the past 5 years, right? Lost both of them, but they've been out there though, right? Or at least they've been to, no, not maybe 2, they've been to 1, excuse me, on that one, when they lost to the Chiefs. But it's like, you look at that, and it's like, I feel like some of what we see in terms of when we're projecting the Niners this year, it's still heavily based on what they did in the past. And that's kind of how I feel about the Chiefs as well. We'll talk about that though more, but that's kind of, when I look at the Niners, I don't hate them being at 11, but I do have questions about how legitimate they're going to be this season as it continues to play out. Washington at 2-1. Yeah, Washington's nice. All right. We know Jaden Daniels. We got to see if he can stay healthy. That's some of the questions, some of the concerns right now. Defensively, they've been allowing some big plays also, but the Commanders are a good team, man. They were an NFC Championship finalists last year, right? Lost to their division rival, the Giants, or excuse me, the Eagles, right? Saquon Barkley and them boys. But that's one of those ones, man. As long as you got the quarterback and he's playing at a high level and he's healthy, I ain't tripping on him being at 10. The Kansas City Chiefs at 9. Shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs being at 9. This for sure to me feels like, because of who they are in terms of their history, and because they still got Mahomes at quarterback, you're obligated to put them in the top 10. I get it. I do. But I question if they weren't playing the Giants, or heck that, if it's the rush from a week ago. I don't know where this rush came from. The rush from the week before that, though, was airing it out, man. Big ball, big arm, like that rush, right? If that one was out there, I don't feel like the Chiefs would have done that, man. I have serious questions about the Chiefs, man. Their protection up front, I have big concerns about. The receivers is like, yo, they don't have a lot. They don't have what you're accustomed to seeing for it to feel and be talked about like how it is right now. I'm just like, I don't know. But because of their history, I get it. And they got Mahomes. If you got Mahomes at quarterback, you obviously got a chance every week. So respect on that. But from there, man, they got the Rams, and I like the Rams a lot, man. Sitting at 2-1, they just took the L, close one to the Eagles. That's the game, obviously, where you saw Big Jordan Davis get the block field goal, return it to the house, man. Walk off tutty for the dub. I like the Rams a lot. I think with Stafford, I'm a Stafford fan. I like him. I think he's tough as nails. I think he's a true, he's the highest form of what Baker Mayfield is right now in terms of that, like. I can hit you anywhere across with this arm. I got it. It's big on to get you down the grass, but I also play within the flow in terms of that back foot rhythm. Get it out, get it out, get it out. But he also has that like, yo, F you mentality. Like, man, my arm better than whatever you putting out here defensively. And it's the same thing I see when I see Baker, same thing when I see John Mateer. And I like that about them dudes, right? But to me, man, yeah, it's hard to go against the Rams being at number 8 right now. Number 7 on the list, you got the Baltimore Ratbirds. Shout out to the Ravens. Said no one. But they're sitting at 1-2. Obviously got beat 38-30 versus the Lions. They've had, 2 games now where they've allowed over 30 points on their defense. But they got Lamar. They got Henry. They can score. They're tough. So I definitely don't hate them being, at 7. They're tough. For sure, they're tough. Their 2 losses, I'm like, yeah, man. If you're playing anybody other than Buffalo and Detroit in those games, the probability of them winning, skyrockets. It just so happened that you were going against the reigning, defending league MVP, Josh Allen, week 1 in primetime. It's always tough to deal with. And then you turn around and you face a Detroit Lions team that after getting beat bad week 1 versus the Packers, they have bounced back these week 2 and week 3. But that's also why we say it's week to week, right? But I think the Ravens should be rated higher personally. I don't think that they should be outside of that top 5 because I think that the Ravens are going to be a problem this year. Like legit, I think they're a top 5 team. But my problem is this. How do I put the Ravens, who are sitting at 1-2, ahead of Tampa Bay, who's sitting at 3-0? I love when I watch Baker and Tampa. I fan out just watching because they're just so gutter. It's so just like, I don't care what y'all think about me. I don't care what y'all think about the squad. I don't care if y'all think we nice. We're here to mess stuff up. And you watch when they play. It doesn't matter who they play. Even when you go and watch them when they played playoffs, I want to say they had the I can't remember if it was playoff, it was a regular season game when they played the Eagles. It's like when you watch them, it's like, yo, Baker and the boys, they're not scared of nobody out there, man. They really think they can score on anybody. And I just love that mindset, man. I love the mind, like the confidence that they play with as well, man. But they're sitting at 3-0. So, like I said, I'm not tripping on that. Green Bay at 2-1. I'm not a Green Bay fan, but their defense is crazy. So I get why they got them in the top 5. To me, I would flop them with the Ravens. I low-key like the Rams over the Packers. But I get it. The Packers defense is stupid, and I know a lot of people love Jordan Love. I like Jordan like. I'm like Jordan like. I'm not in Jordan Love just yet. Now I know people swear that he's the guy because he's tall, he's got the athleticism, can run, got the big arm. He makes too many bad plays for me, man, for me to like put him on that pedestal just yet. And I feel like them putting him in the top 5 is largely due to them putting him on that pedestal. And I just don't do that. I don't feel like that about him just yet. So that's why for me, if it was my list, I got him behind the Ravens and the Buccaneers. All right, Green Bay being number 7 on that list. Okay, I'd have Ravens at 5, or actually I'd have Bucks at 5 because Bucks undefeated. Ravens at 6. All right. Then from there, at number 4, Chargers 3-0 undefeated. They look good. They can run the ball. They can play defense. They can pass. They got pass rushes. They got the homie Bud Dupree. So now I got a personal connection. They got one of my favorite safeties in the league in terms of Derwin James being over there. They got a lot of talent, man. They got a lot of pieces, man. A lot of ways to hurt you. And Harbaugh has them boys playing, like an extension of him. Ultra physical, man. Ultra physical. So I do like that a lot. I think what he's done out there has truly made them to a competitor. And yeah, man, don't be surprised when they win that division. Like, I for sure think that they take that from the Chiefs, man. Yeah, I like them a lot. And don't forget they beat the Broncos too, 23-20, because I think the Broncos going to beat the Chiefs for sure. All right, then at number 3, Detroit. Detroit sitting at 2-1. Obviously, we know Detroit got walloped in that first game, but when you look at what Detroit did versus Baltimore, shout out to my former teammate up in Buffalo, Kelvin Shepard, who is the defensive coordinator in Detroit, man. Shoot, Shep was gonna put me onto my jeweler. All right, y'all see all this shiny, glittery stuff, man. Shout out to my dog Shep, man. Hey, I always appreciate you, fella. You know that. But yeah, man, they sacked my man Lamar. Was it 9 times, something like that? 8, 9 times. Confused them, hit them. Like they had a lot of success, but at the same time, the Ravens still scored, right? But to me, Detroit, after that first game versus the Packers, man, where they really kind of got their butts handed to them, what they have been able to do defensively, what they've been able to do offensively in terms of Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sonic and Knuckles. David Montgomery did help me win my fantasy matchup. Shout out to him. He went berserk out there on Monday night, so I do appreciate that. They tough. Aiden Hutchinson doesn't look like he was injured at all. They tough, man. They tough. So with that, though, it's like, yeah, how do you not have them in the top? Like they're for sure one of the top teams in the league. Then they got this team from Buffalo, New York. Buffalo Bills at 3-0, ranked number 2. Of course, I think that they're a little bit too low. All right, I know it's only one more spot, but I get it. The defending champ has to be the defending champ. So I digress. They are the man until they beat the man. You can't be the man until you beat the man. So I'm with it. So keep them at 2. That's fair. But yeah, man, Buffalo's tough. They are very tough. Now, they still got some questions about their defense, man. You look at, how the Dolphins were able to have some success. Obviously, what Baltimore did week 1, that really put them under duress a little bit. But the same way we talk about Lamar, the same way we talk about, the Eagles, the same way we talk about, Burrow, Mahomes company, they got one of them quarterbacks that can literally leave this earth. And when he leaves this earth, it's just like, bro, good luck trying to stop that, man. When Josh is in his bag, and we saw that last year, man, he put together the full season. That's why he got his first MVP. I mean, the turnovers were the big knock on him. He's taken that largely out of his game and has been doing it on a consistent basis while they've been able to add a true running game as well. They're going to be tough to deal with, man. But that's what they've been these past couple of years. So we know we've seen that in the postseason. We've seen it in the regular season. We ain't afraid of it, but you know what that is when you handling it, when you dealing with that, and the quarterback and how he can impact the game, which we've unfortunately seen as well in those matchups. So I ain't tripping on them being there too. And then, of course, they got Philadelphia at number 1, 3-0. They came out that Rams game, found a dub, man. It doesn't matter how you do it. Find a way, right? We can talk about, was it fluky? Was it lucky to block a field goal? The game-winning field goal? Was it fluky to block that and then run that back for a touchdown? Some people make a case. Others will say, yo, that's skill, right? Do your job every single time. It doesn't matter when it happens. You better make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do because you never know when it's going to be the critical play that hurts you, that impacts the game in a negative way. So that's why you got to do it every single time. And for the Eagles, through 3 games, they found a way to do just that. So it's hard to not have them boys at number 1. So in terms of the teams they have rated ahead of the Steelers, my argument was really Cardinals because of the James Conner injury, and then Niners just because I don't think that they're like that, especially with Mac Jones being out there and now with them not having Nick Bosa. But to me, though, I don't hate where we're ranked at. I do think us at 17, kind of middle of the pack right now, is realistic because we're not trash, but we're not great. In the words of Tanisha, we are elite average. It's middle of the pack. It's like, yeah, we're above a lot of these bum teams, but at the same time, we got some questions about how far up the ladder we feel as we start talking about them top 15, top 10, and in the top 5. How do we feel we match up versus them? That's, some of the stuff that makes us feel a little bit uneasy. And that's why, we come up here and we're as critical as we are, rightfully so. But that for sure is one of the things that I do want to see, like I said, because we know how we feel about ourselves because we're heavily in it, right? But it is cool every once in a while to just peek up and let's just see what it looked like around the way, all right? And hopefully y'all were enjoying that. And if y'all were, hit the like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel, baby. All righty. Said, man, that was a blast right there. That was a little bit of a vibe, man. Let me see how y'all felt in the comment section, though, man. Let me see what y'all talking about. All right, and I see how y'all trying to get on me about my Bills, breaking them down. All right, don't you get me like that. But man, say your most, tell them how you really feel. Bills are a great team. Go off, my God. No need to hold back. Look. I let the people talk about the Bills. Okay. If the people say the Bills are great, then I'm just echo that. You know that. All right. When the people said Josh the MVP, I just echo it, right? I just try to do it like Martin Luther King would say from the mountaintops. I want freedom to ring. I want everybody to just echo that they nice like that. All right. But I can't be the one saying it. I'm just gonna echo it. I'm just echoing. Okay. But they tough. They tough. But let's see, man. Let's see. Do y'all feel like we're properly rated, though, man? Before we get up out of here, do you guys feel like the Steelers are properly rated? You heard me say they're the 17th ranked team. You heard me read the teams that they have rated behind the Steelers and the teams they have rated in front of the Steelers. We talked with my man DC53. He talked about how some of the health concerns kind of make him feel uneasy about our spot, or that we're a little bit, too high, so to speak. But outside of the health element, wasn't really a strong stance on, man, why any of those teams behind us he thought should be in front of us. So how do we feel as a whole, though, man, with the chat and everything like that, man? Who would we put in front of us? Who would we put behind us? Or do we feel like we're properly rated right now, man? Ooh, shout out to Rashawn Jones. My man said, I think 13th. Okay. So he moved us up a couple of spots then. And that would have been right in that range too, where we're talking about let's see, the 13th in that range. That's where you're talking Colts, Vikings, Seahawks, right? Broncos, Cardinals, they all in that range right there, man. Niners. So heck yeah, you fishing in the right pond. I can't move them up to there until after this weekend. I need to see it first because I feel like they can't. I got my plan of how. But until they do, I can't bump them ahead of the Vikings. I need to see it though. But we got a chance this weekend. We got a chance this weekend for show. Now here's the word right here. This is why I like the CX concepts. Steelers at 1. Bills are staying put. I get it. They ain't face Steelers this week. I got you on that. And then Eagles at 3. As long as the Eagles are moving that direction, I like that a lot. All right. I don't like them just sitting there at the top acting like they run the show, man. Oh man, was this one? I pushed on the wrong, but he says Josh Allen, no one open. He takes off 80 yards one time. I didn't even know why that clicked up there. I didn't mean to click on that, but I was accident, man. I'm so sorry. Oh, whoopsies. Leah Ward said, we right where we belong, middle of the pack. I don't hate that, Leah. I'm telling you, after 3 games, I do feel, we are kind of middle to above the middle, which falls into the elite average category. Not all the way nice, not all the way dope just yet, but we definitely not trash. Record reflects that. We hear about the other teams we talked about, and we're like, yeah, don't tell us it's all bad when, we talked about the Giants, unfortunately, right? Don't tell me it's all bad. When we talk about some of these teams, you're like, man, have you seen the Saints? Oh, don't tell me it's all trash. We all trash. Have you seen the Titans? Like, is the optimism of Cam Ward that much better than actually winning actual games and looking actually good enough to get the dub? Like, I'll just be missing it sometimes, man. But that is the beauty of this thing, baby. For sure. Oh, and this is real right here, DC. And shout out to you too, man, for your participation, man. I like how you rocking out. You always show love to the channel, man. So salute to you. But he says the season depends on the O-line. I just honestly don't see Rodgers making it 17 games. That's completely legit, man. When we talk about, Rodgers and his health, there are legitimate questions and concerns about with the style of play that we've seen these first 3 games for our offense, and specifically the offensive line. Can Rodgers, was it 41 years old, sustain this level of trauma, this level of physical abuse, right? We're taught not to hurt our elders, okay? But Rodgers has been getting thumped on a little bit, but at the same time, he keeps getting up. At the same time, we haven't seen him limp or show any signs of distress. Heck, we barely even see him show signs of frustration with offensive line. He's been more demonstrative towards the receivers than we've seen him with O-line. The way that people talk about O-line, you would think that he would react to them the way that he reacts to the receivers. Man, he was cooking. He was getting on move. Great. Sit down, bro. You know what you're supposed to do. I'm like, I ain't seen him pointing at him O-line like that, man. So that's the part where I'm like, okay. But then the other side of it is like, okay, well, O-line. Mixed bag. I know it's popular right now to just focus on the negative with the offensive line, and I get that. And that's why I do what we did today in terms of the zooming out, so that way we can get a chance to, hey man, don't just sniff here. Let's Sniff around and let's see what's really up. Is it funky or is it just we just tripping? Right. So with that, O-line, man, to me, it's been mixed bag. Seattle, I thought they did, and this is the issue too, because it's not the same players every week. We bring up Broderick versus Broderick versus Seahawks plays well. Broderick versus the run versus the Patriots, not so good. Broderick allows some pressures this week, but more importantly, this week, interior offensive line really struggled. So that's the new issue, right? So as we go through it, it's like, man, well, who are we identifying and trying to point a finger at? Which I know that's what we want to do. So anytime a name pops up like Broderick, it's like everybody is ready to get him. And shout out to Trey Essex, man. I thought he did a great job on social media earlier today. People were, bringing up some plays from Broderick where they were questioning, number one, his technique, number two, if he understood the assignment. And it was just beautiful and refreshing from a former player's perspective to see Trey Essex, an actual NFL lineman that has done this thing for a while, actually break down that on both of the clips that people were, get the pitchforks out as Broderick is Broderick. He actually beautifully articulated it that it had zero to do with Broderick from a negative aspect. And actually it was the gentleman next to him on multiple occasions. And that's the part for the player side. We see some of that. It's like, yeah, we know that. But when we only highlight, man, he gave up a pressure here. Man, he gave up a sack here. Man, I can see where this looked bad. And he was just kind of standing over here. What's going on? It's like we're so hell-bent on putting absolute blame on one person. And at this level, it's too many people involved for it to ever just boil down to one person. That's the same thing we said last week with Caleb Johnson, right? Everybody wanted to get the pitchforks out. It's Caleb Johnson, and we ruined him. Why were you playing him out? And it's like, bro, it's not just a Caleb Johnson issue. Caleb Johnson fumbled, but what about the drop catch over here? What about the mishap in the end zone on that pass? What about the missed tackle over here, right? All of that matters in the game. But the one thing that I will say that I do hope we improve upon, the guys that we actually thought were going to be some of our better players on the offensive line, I need more consistency from them. We never talked about Broderick as somebody that was supposed to be our best offensive lineman this year. There were legitimate questions about him. I personally think that for everything that we know about Broderick, he is doing well enough this season. He's not playing great, but he is playing well enough through 3 games. It's not great, but for everything that we've seen from Broderick, I can't go with the whole narrative. Oh, yeah, he's trasher. He's super duper trash. No. Can't go with that. But as a whole, that offensive line unit, it has not been good enough. And that's the frustrating part. So I want to see when we talk about Isaac Seumalo, a Zach Frazier, a Mason McCormick. These were the 3 that you heard me personally speaking. I was like, yo, man, I think these dudes can be, some really good players right here, especially the 2 young guys, man. In terms of that year 2 leap. Seumalo, we feel really good about what he's bringing from in terms of moving people versus the run. But that's been our biggest issue when we're trying to run the football right now. It's the interior gaps. And until we get more consistent play from there, our running game is going to struggle. We can point to, hey, man, why is he lined up in that? Or why aren't we doing this formationally? All of that to me are secondary issues. We're talking, man, 3-point stance versus 2-point stance. We're talking, man, bring Darnell Washington in here and run it this way. All of those are secondary issues because when I look at our A gap and our B gap, we're getting beat there too frequently when we're trying to run the football. So it doesn't matter any of this other window dressing stuff. If we can't win A and B gap, and it's the same conversation you heard me have on defense before Derek Carmen came back. It's like, bro, we get whooped in the trenches. And if you're getting whooped there, you're not going to be good on offense. You're not going to be good on defense. That's the Philadelphia model, right? That's why they whoop so many teams. And we got the perfect example of that when it was Philly versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It was like, yo, we know Chiefs and Mahomes can throw it all around the yard, but man, they got destroyed in the trenches. And that was the issue. So for me, when I think of that, it's like, man, we have to be better there. And I think we will, but only time will tell. All right. But shout out to you, though, DC53. Shout out to you. And we did get a super. So let me read this real quick. And after that, I do got to get ready to run as I looked at the clock. So Farron Bradford, shout out to you as well. He says, how much big nickel are we running? And would it benefit to run more or less of it with Peppers now? I mean, we run it based off of the matchup, based off of, okay, if they're bringing 11 personnel, meaning one running back, one tight end, because those are more predominantly passing situations, but you run with the big nickel just to kind of give you a little bit of an offset, right? But the way that we typically run big nickel, it was typically when we would put DeMarvin Lee out there in that DN spot sometimes, man, to give you a bigger body over there versus the run, but that also limits you versus the pass. I don't think there's ever going to be a one-stop shop or an absolute, hey, man, run big nickel in every situation like this. I don't think that is going to necessarily be the fix. But in terms of the best of both worlds, when Deshaun Elliott comes back, that answers a lot of this big nickel. It answers a lot of the secondary tackling issues that we see at times with the run game, because that is where Deshaun Elliott thrives. Same place where we saw Meek and Deshaun Elliott thrive a year ago. Those alley runs or that second level when it's like, yo, get this on the ground. We got to be better tacklers, but we understand that we don't have our full gamut of resources just yet. And that's the part where we can see that drop off, so to speak, man, when those guys are out there trying to tackle. You heard me bring it up the one time, especially for Seattle. It was like, yo, I see my man like he was stuck in the mud. I'm like, hey, bro, pick your feet up. You got to make that, man. And we can't wait 10 yards on the field. I need you attacking that. But that's a personnel thing. That's not, to me, a scheme thing. Jabril Peppers, he wasn't on our roster 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So it's like the fact that he's here now and we saw him implement it, that was a positive. That was a good. But we got to keep getting him involved. But like I said, man, for me, when Deshaun Elliott comes back, that will take a lot of this off of our, proverbial plate, so to speak, man. But like I said, man, that will do it for today. Because like I said, I do got to get ready to roll, man. As I said, man, we got a schedule, got to keep up too. All right. But shout out to everybody that was here today. And if you guys enjoyed today's stream, man, talking about Tyler, QBs around the league, everything included, man, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. But until next time, peace.